Wow. Amazing. We are alive. Well, let me check to see if we are live. We are on Twitch. Are we on... We're on YouTube. Are we on everyone's favorite platform, Kick? We are. Okay, we're good.
Define everyone's favorites. I feel like using that term very liberally.
I have so many Kick fans. You wouldn't even believe how many
Yeah, you're right.
Umineko...
I wouldn't believe it. You're right.
That's where all the witches go to watch our streams. You ever wonder why you don't see Beatrice and all them in like the Twitch or YouTube chat? It's because they're on the Kick chat. They've been banned from the other platforms, reasonably so. So they're over on Kick now.
For what they do exactly?
Have you been reading Umineko? I think you know what they've been doing. It's pretty fucked up.
Gotcha, that doesn't make a bit of sense.
They do a little repeated endless cycles of murder, you know? Just a little bit.
Is it really murder if they come back?
Well, I will say, I don't think you can be convicted of murdering the same person twice, but you can at least be... I believe you can at least get in trouble for murdering them once. I think once is enough, though, you know? I think... And there's, like, at least 16 people each cycle that they do this to, I think, so, you know. I think that's enough counts for at least being banned from Twitch, you know? I think
banned from Twitch. Okay, I mean, yeah, maybe.
I think in the court of at least public opinion, because there's not enough evidence to pin it on them, you know. I feel like being banned from Twitch should be enough.
No, they canceled Beatrice on Twitter.
I mean, again, reasonably so for these actions. Okay, they've been called out. It's pretty fucked up. Okay, we're gonna post. You're getting pinged. You're gonna get freaking...
don't ping me!
You're about to get pinged, idiot.
No!
That's right, you just got freaking pinged in the discord.wolfborg.com server, you know? Freaking pinged. What are you gonna do about that? Nothing, because you got pinged.
I can't really do much about it.
You know what you're gonna do? Now that you got pinged, you're gonna go to YouTube, Twitch, or Kick.
I'm already there, Chef. You
gotta be on all of them. You gotta be there on your alt accounts. You gotta be there on your smartphones. You gotta load up your mom's Apple smartwatch. Watch the stream from that too.
We're friends and all that, but I'm not going that far. Okay.
You gotta like start hiring like Russian viewbot farms to like give me more viewers. That's what a real fan would do. I'm just saying, real fans would do that.
I'm a fake fan. Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
We've always known the Shadow Man V4 was a fraud, okay? Won't even spend hundreds of dollars for view bots for my channel. That's fucked up.
I can just give you bits at that point, you know, honestly.
What am I gonna do with bits? What am I gonna do with that?
I don't know, man.
Spend it? What am I gonna do?
Give, like... Who knows how many subs? I'm not sure what the conversion is.
I'm gonna like waste those bits on something dumb. Like what's dumber than like blue archive gotcha polls? What's dumber than that? I'm gonna okay, here's what I'm gonna do. With the bits, I'm gonna take the bits and I'm gonna buy like Umineko stamps. I have nothing to mail with them, but I'm going to buy stamps with them. I don't know how... I don't think anybody makes Umineko stamps you can purchase, though, so I'm going to have to order custom-made Umineko postage stamps, of which I will not use. They will also not be illegal US postage stamps. I'll make them, like, useless postage stamps from, like, another country, which can't be used here. And then, like, I'll have those. And then I'll actually use them to send out mail, and it won't work. But I'm going to do that.
It'd be funny though.
I feel like having a letter with a Beatrice like postage stamp on it, just like laughing at you, returning back to your mail rejected every single time you try to send it out. I feel like that's a good bit. Okay, so we were told Nyan Bacon's not going to be here. We were told I'm assuming Ari's going to be here. And Turndo specifically said that Turndo will be here this week. So we're gonna have at least
We're gonna
4
say that
people.
Torrendo is going to be here. Okay, sure.
Turndo specifically said that Turndo will be here this week. So if he says it, I believe him.
Interesting way to phrase it.
I mean, it's better than me just assuming whether or not he's going to be here based on if he's been posting recently, you know? He specifically said, I'll be here for book club this week. Right after I specified that we are doing book club tonight instead of tomorrow. So they specifically know and have confirmed that they will be here this week.
No, the part I was talking about is that Torrendo says that Torrendo will be there. I feel like that was worded a little weirdly. Is that just an American thing?
This is me specifying that nobody spoke on behalf of Turndo. Turndo said that Turndo will be here. Okay? This isn't somebody else saying that Turndo's going to be here. Okay, who are you? Who do you think you are? Okay, you're gonna out here actually me over something that is still grammatically correct. Okay, I don't even want to hear it.
It doesn't sound right, you know.
It is correct though. There is nothing wrong about my sentence. Name one thing wrong about it. Name one. Can't be done. Because there is nothing wrong with my sentence. Or any of my sentences, actually. There's nothing wrong with any of them.
Canadian thing.
Hey, you know what? You know what else I also am correct about? Okay, because I fix everything around here. All right. You know the problem we used to have in the YouTube chat where there would be an annoying fucking heart symbol covering some of the text? That's gone now. I killed it. All right. I found it. I hunted it. Okay. I chased it into the woods and I murdered it. Okay. It's gone now. It's not there for anybody anymore. Now, apparently, it's a live reaction option that you could just turn off on YouTube streams.
Thank God.
So I turned it off. So it means if you wanted the option to do that, too fucking bad, you don't get to do it. Okay? Apologies for that, but it's annoying when I can't read half the chat. Blame Google for making a dogshit UI for its products if you really wanted to do that in real time. Okay? Blame Google. Don't blame me. Blame the giant corporation that should know better, not me.
Well, you know, should.
They should know a lot of things, okay? They should know a lot of things. And yeah, what do? Nothing. I am all ready for the New York trip tomorrow morning. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I got everything all set. I got the train stuff. I got the bags packed. I got... Everything's good. Everything's ready. I got my Kindle ready to throw into my backpack. I have business cards that showed up just in time. Okay, I was worried about whether or not they would actually show in, but they did. Otherwise, these would have been made useless in like a couple months because they're Jotaku Network business cards, and Jotaku Network will no longer be called Jotaku Network after like a couple months when it's renamed to Zettai Network. So if these did not show up today, these were all going to be useless before I even got a chance to grab them. You know, so. I mean, the one benefit of business cards at any point, okay, is even if you don't use them all up, afterwards you have a shit ton of bookmarkers, okay? I have still so many bookmarkers now from my last batch of business cards that are useless now, which I just exclusively use as bookmarkers, these business cards. And these new ones are nice too, because the last ones I picked were like matte, whatever they're called, that kind of texture of like business card.
I know.
And I never really kind of liked them. They were like a little more expensive, and I thought, man, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. It was a little for that one. It was a little more expensive, and it turned out I did not like the texture of it. All it takes to make your business cards amazing, okay? You get them, and you get the glossy kind, okay? You get glossy. You don't have to go fancy with it. Just get glossy, and it's good. It's already based, okay? It's already amazing.
Actually, Matt is the same thing I use for my card sleeves.
That works better for card sleeves, I think.
Yeah.
Specifically for the business cards, it makes them feel like they're like fuzzy, and it's weird because it's like matte paper or whatever, so it feels weird. But the glossy thing is like cool. The glossy is cool because it feels more like it's a plasticky, awesome, like I feel professional, is what I'm saying. Unlike somebody who barges in and just hits soundboards all day. Can you imagine doing that? Can you imagine? Who would do that? Who just...
Couldn't be me.
That's not a soundboard. That is me cackling.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting you could do that while muted too. That's actually pretty impressive.
The cackling is so powerful. It breaks their being muted.
Oh.
That's the power of the witch.
So I have, at some point, because I finished my reading early in the week because I wanted to make sure I wasn't worried about this the night
I
before.
finished. I finished Sunday.
I was trying to like make sure I wasn't trying to do all the reading and do everything else to get ready for the New York trip today or whatever. So I did my reading early, and then what I did was I have started Umineko notes, theorizing things. Specifically, I wrote down every single instance in the manga so far of the red text usage and where it happened. Okay, so I have that down. Takes up like 4 pieces of paper. I physically hand wrote this.
Okay. We're going before. Writes down.
I got the receipts. Okay, I got the receipts. Each like bubble where red text is used. Okay, I wrote like what episode, what volume, what page number. Okay, I got it. I got this stuff. I got this receipts. All right, I know. It was really easy once it got to episode 4 because there was none in episode 4. You know, so that's pretty easy. I don't know nor care if I want to take notes about blue text usage. We'll see how that goes. We have now been introduced to that, so we will go over the blue text stuff today. Turndo is here. Nyan said that they will not be here, so we should be good to go with just us 4. Turndo, are you here? Audio check?
Yep, I'm here.
Good. Great. Amazing. All right, let me move all this shit. Okay. All right. Let me be right back, and then we'll get started. All right. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Oh my God, Beatrice. Why? Why? Okay. All right. Don't need this open anymore. I guess I'll have this open. Okay. Let me make sure my mic is not muted. My mic is good on OBS. Okay, that's good. That's always good to know that people can actually hear the host of the stream. That's always nice.
That's a good thing?
I'd hope so. I'd hope it's good to hear me, otherwise I'm doing my job wrong.
Sounds about right.
That I'm doing my job wrong? I'm never doing my job wrong, okay?
No, I mean, if you weren't, you wouldn't be doing your job right.
I'm amazing at my job as the host. Hold on. What is this? In Kick Chat. Wait, go on. What is it? What is it?
I was gonna say, I like how the embed for your stream still shows the rooms thumbnail. The embed.
Wait, does it? Wait. The embed on...
I'll take a screenshot of it. But yeah, summarizing Kick? What? People use Kick?
Oh, so I mean, I don't know if this is a person. I don't know if I define them as a person, but...
Define person.
Paparazzi 193.
Are they furniture?
Oh, in the, I see, the embed for the dev talk thing, I see. And that's like... I think that was when we started the last room too. Why does it do that? I don't know. We're not playing the room, so unfortunately, to Dev Talk, okay, they'll never know unless they read. Well, I mean, this is a version, okay. This is the room 5, the VR version, okay. All right, I'm reaching out as part of my.
We are in a room, so you know.
I'm reaching out as a part of my role to offer information about our services, assist streamers in growing and promoting their channels. My goal is to provide you with helpful information and see if there's a way that we would assist you in achieving your goals. Add me up on Discord. No, I don't think I will. I don't think I will, Kick Chatter. We love our Kick viewers, especially the ones I get to ban. Especially them. We love them.
What Kick viewers do you not ban? Hold on.
What's going on in here? Make visual novels. This is Nye, right? That's Make Visual Novels. How's it going? Hey,
Yes.
hey, I've been informed that my embed is the wrong picture in the Dev Talk thing. I'm assuming that's a bug. I don't know how that works, but it's showing me and Nye, or not Nye, me and Nyan getting ready to play the room.
Well, start with N. You know.
Yeah, I have no idea why it's still that. If you click it, it's right. Well, that's good at least. That's good. Just wanted to let you know in case that was a problem that you were looking into. Now, let me plug in my mouse so that shit does not die. And then we can continue. Where's my fucking plug for my mouse? Here it is. It was under my keyboard.
I think it was under your keyboard.
What does it sound like? It sounds like the cable was underneath my keyboard, Shadow. How else would you interpret that sentence?
Sure, I'm not gonna question it.
How else would you interpret that sentence? Where is the wire?
Wait, what is there to question?
There is nothing to question. All right. Okay, let us turn off the pre-show, and we are ready to go. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch.wolfborg.com, all at the same time. All on the platforms, all the things, but on the wrong day this week. We are here on Wednesday night instead of our usual Thursday night because I'm going to New York starting tomorrow for Anime NYC, so we're having a good time there. So, in order to make sure that I am not hosting this from a New York hotel, probably with dog shit Wi-Fi and an even worse microphone, we're doing it tonight. So deal with it. But we will be also...
I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Okay, so it's called NYC because it's New York City, right?
Yes.
Is there like a New York that's not a city?
New York, the state. You wouldn't just call it New York because New York is also a city. That's why they clarify New York City specifically, I guess. I don't know. This is my first time going to New York City, so...
I can't believe that. That's wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
if I've
been
ever
to New
been,
York.
if I've ever been, I would have been like so young I wouldn't have remembered it. So, and I'm pretty sure that didn't even happen. So, my first time in New York City, and also my first time at an anime convention that's not Anime Boss. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Umineko When They Cry, specifically episode 4. We're going to be talking about volumes 3 and 4 tonight. But before we get into that, let's introduce our guests for this week, starting in alphabetical order as usual. Arimia, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Arimia. So I like shonen shit, and all the shonens are dying. Like they're just like ending. I'm so shocked about that.
Is One Piece finally over?
No,
not yet.
But
that'll be the next one.
My Hero ended. Jujutsu Kaisen is ending in like 5 chapters or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's the year of ending the battle shonen, unless you're an exorcist shonen, in which case you've still got a lot more chapters. And I think everyone should just migrate to reading D. Gray Man, where you have to wait for 3 months for one chapter, and sometimes that chapter is only 15 pages. Imagine waiting 3 months and you get 15 pages, but don't worry, it's the most beautiful 15 pages you've ever seen. They don't make any sense. None of it makes sense. But it's beautiful, and then you'll be happy, and then you'll just wait 3 more months for devastation.
Have you
chapters just 3 months away?
Have you seen that one video of like this guy this like boyfriend who's just like eating some like Chinese meal with his girlfriend, and it looks like he's a hostage there. He's like, yeah, this is so great, ha ha ha. That's how that sounds like. So I don't know if I'll be doing that anytime soon, but the viewers can definitely do that. You know, they'll have a great time.
Until I win book club again next year.
Oh boy, you gotta rig the vote. You gotta start bribing people. We gotta stop the count.
Arimia 1, Arimia 2.
Oh my god. Huh.
You know, I'm down for some bribery.
Leroy 1, Leroy 2.
Oh boy, all these fake votes, but you can't give me fake views too. Come on, at least if you're gonna do that, you gotta give me the views too. This is bullshit. Anyways, thank you so much for that.
Subs, who knows?
True. I could be bribed too, directly even. The buttons are right there. You could do it. Anyways, I am a chaplain, aka Wolfborg, aka Battlerborg, while we read Umineko, because witches are not real, and I will prove this with science and logic, Jesse. Now, I what would I say? I would say just don't read battle shit, anything. Don't do it. Just move on to Peak. Rent a Girlfriend. Start reading all of Rent a Girlfriend, and you'll find
good?
enlightenment. You'll find well. Listen, I didn't say that. Listen. It's
That's why I asked.
it's-
What he's saying is that all shonen is shit. So if you're going to eat the shit, you should at least do something
listen.
about that.
Hey, listen, it's a time. It is a time. There is good art at places. Okay, there are interesting
good writing?
2-page spreads. Listen, we don't have to talk about that.
Oh, is there good writing, huh?
Listen, I'll bring it up to book club for the vote. You guys can decide, and you can judge for yourself. Don't worry. Okay, Run to Girlfriend.
I think I'm good.
Well, that's
got
okay
D.
because
Grayman.
I'm good on D. Grayman too. You know, so we don't have to read either of these. You know, I think that's fair. So, anyways,
I got you to
Thank you
read
so
One
much.
Peak. That's fine.
One Piece. You want me to read One
One
Piece?
Peak.
One Piece? Why would we read
One
One
Peak.
Piece?
No, not One Piece.
One Peak? This is literally what
Whoa.
One Piece fans would call it. I'm just saying. That all right. Next up we have Shadow Man. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shadow. What do I recommend? I recommend 100% Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Color without a guide on 0.5 times speed.
Is it fun?
I'd say it was fun, but
Okay.
there's some quality, such as T-posing Blue Eyes by Dragon, which I
You-
didn't think was possible.
You know, I always believed it was possible, actually. I'm glad for it. I'm happy for it. You have anything else you want to shout out?
Watch the non-bacon on Twitch.
Yes, do that. All right. Thank you so much for that. And last but not least, we have Turndo. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Turndo. I like to read.
And that's all you need to be here. So welcome everybody to another exciting week of book club. This is episode 47. We're almost at 50 episodes of book club that we've been hosting. Holy shit, guys. That's a lot of books that we've been reading. Okay, a lot of mangoes. Now let's talk about a very special mango here. Okay, Umineko When They Cry, episode 4, volumes 3 and 4. Specifically, it's volume 2 of the omnibus English version. That's how we're splitting it up. These were chapters 10 to 18. We're in the fourth game now, right? This is the fourth game. So we are.
I hope.
Listen.
Yes.
So now we've actually started it and seen the differences that are now present. Anjay is now assisting Battler, but now has been twisted by Lambda Delta to potentially not help Battler in some cases. That was a plot point. Anjay did not really have much of a role in these two volumes yet, it seems, other than like talking with Battler outside of the game, and then like having her own internal stuff, and then like some backstory, specifically what happened to her with the Order. But there's been no like new developments with her towards like we didn't see more of whatever investigation journey her and Bungo Stray Dogs guy are going on. Who, yes, I am still referring to him as Bungo Stray Dogs guy. We have not seen more yet about what they're doing, but we know that at least in the game. So in my mind, it's probably symbolic of like helping to solve the mystery after the fact or whatever is what this is all symbolic of. But I guess we'll find out. But Lambda Delta has approached Anjay at some point. Lambda Delta was also the one who said you cannot reveal that you are Battler's brother, I believe. And has now...
Battler's brother?
Am I wrong? Or Battler's,
Yes, you're
Battler's
right.
sister. Battler's sister. I
Jesus.
said it wrong. Not sibling, okay? Not sibling, okay? Okay. All right. Cannot reveal that she is Battler's sister.
There we go.
And so, in doing so, they've also cornered them and said, so, Barncastle probably promised you that he can bring, like, Battler back. But, that won't be for you, if I'm understanding correctly. It sounded like they were saying that would be for an alternate version of Anjay who is not you, if that even happens at all. So,
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if Battler wins, you know.
So you essentially get nothing in the end, no matter what you do. However, what you could do instead is you can keep this
Prolong
game.
this game.
Yeah, you can keep it in a tie forever. And in doing so, you will essentially be with Battler forever. You would essentially, like, whenever he looks like he's about to make big advancements towards solving it, you get him to, calm down, okay? You lead him astray or whatever. And if he's getting destroyed, then you can help him out a little bit so that, Beatrice doesn't win too. I think they had also even offered to remove the rule about not revealing that they were Battler's sister. I think that was also offered too, but I might be misremembering that one. But essentially, Lambda Delta just is immediately manipulating Anjay's love for Battler, and how she's like realized that like she may just be doing all of this just because Battler has like become all that she really has, even though he's like long gone. And so, like, because, I mean, as we saw in the last volumes, she is more than willing to just jump off of buildings, like, entire buildings, not really worried if she lives in the end. So, she's already not doing very good, and now she's, like, heavily dependent on this idea that Battler could come back. And now that she's been told that technically he won't really be back for her, now it's really fucking with her. So she seems to be seriously considering screwing over Battler by keeping this in a tie for her own selfish reasons. So where that will go is sort of yet to be determined, but we keep seeing like the internal struggle with that. But along with that, we did also see Anjay's backstory in regards to what the incident was that happened to the Seven Sisters of Purgatory. And so it was like an escalation of her school life with the kids being fucking awful pieces of shit towards her specifically. They had a whole day where like they had to try to get her to write an apology for getting test scores that were below the average score for their grade. And not only did she have to write it, she had to write it a specific way. Then she had to present it in front of class. She had to read it to them. And she felt awful the entire time, to the point where she just eventually said, hey, can you all just, like, kill them? Can you girls just, like, murder all of them? And they're like, well, no, we can't really. And they're like, oh, well, then this is all bullshit. Yeah, this is all bullshit. What the fuck do I keep you around for? And, like, her belief that they are useless and can't do anything and, like, is not real. It's like her accepting that these were just fake imaginary friends that she came up with to cope with her loneliness and all the other trauma that's going on with her at the school. And now that she's having this moment there at that time, they're like falling apart. It's presented to us as a whole, like she no longer believes in magic, and if you don't believe in magic, you end up like killing all the magical things around you or whatever. And Maria shows up and is like, what the fuck did you do? You're out of the a mariage soiree or whatever the fuck it's called. I still don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but you're out of the witch order, the witch alliance that we've established, because you did this horrible shit to all of them. I think even like Greed was like, listen, we could do it, but you have to do it first. If you kill them first, then we're not able to do it till you start. So you should start killing. I entirely thought that it was going to be an angle where it was just like, she, not only did they not do it, but she snaps and kills several of the girls in the classroom. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But that we did not get to that level of it. And then I think some of the girls there just started to beat the shit out of her. I forget how it ended. If it just ended with her getting the shit beat out of her and like her beats taken away.
No, it ended with her crying.
Yeah.
Crying. It ends with her finally casting aside Mammon and then Maria and Sakataro. And then she like snaps back into reality and she starts ad-libbing the message, the note, going, I shouldn't be alive right now. Yeah. Someone kill me. And she starts crying. So
it was very sad because I mean
yeah.
Listen, I was entirely rooting for the listen girls, let's fucking kill him, and then they actually do it. I was rooting for it because fuck those girls, okay? It's similar to, and especially later on, with Rosa, okay? Fuck Rosa too. I want her more than dead in this shit, okay? Not good. Not good, Rosa.
You want a repeat of episode 3?
Yeah, yes, unironically. I want an entire episode that's just torturing Rosa, just like in episode 3. Bring back Ava. She knew what she was doing with it. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it again, you know?
She was kind of cooking with that, I won't lie. Like, man, I'm so confused with what's going on with the Rosa. Okay, so, hold on, before we get to the Rosa, I want to make sure I talk about the other Angie stuff. So, it was sad, too, with the Angie stuff, because we saw a whole bunch of scenes with her, like, having gotten used to summoning all of the Sisters of Purgatory at once. They're all hanging out while she's, like, reading Maria's diary and stuff like that. And all just chilling out, relaxing at the schoolyard, you know? And they were having a good time until she was like, all right, let's fucking kill him. And they're like, no, I can't do it. And then Sakataro would come hang out with them sometimes too, and they would be like, oh, Sakataro. Then they all just tackle Sakataro because, of course, it's Sakataro. And it was a nice little time, it seemed like. And then the reality hits Anjay that's like, none of this really was real. This is all just me trying to cope with everything going on with all this stuff, and I've learned to grow out of this. But in that kind of journey, she's also realized that this kind of behavior and like her like words may have indirectly impacted Maria's life too, especially reading through the journal and finding out that at one point Maria was like, you know, has Sakataro and asking like Anjay if they want to like hang out and play with Sakataro and her other stuffed animals, and she's like, I'm too old for stuffed animals anymore. I want to go hang out outside. Stuffed animals aren't real. They're just toys. And Maria's like, no, Sakataro is real. No, it's real. It's real. It's fucked up. And like, to Maria, you know, they are real, and hanging out with all of them, they're like her friends or whatever, which is soul crushing because like, you know that Maria is like this because Rosa just leaves her home all the time, not just because she's busy at work. We now know she just goes on vacations for like entire weekends, just like leaving her alone to go on dates with boyfriends or whatever, and just leaving her there.
It's not quite vacations. She's literally like going out on dates with guys.
Yeah,
like they're vacations, but they're with guys, or at least her boyfriends. And it's like,
I know dates lasted for multiple days. I thought
like I get it from the writing perspective of like, you know, poor Madia, she's leaving her all alone, but I still don't really get it from like just the financial, like the realistic perspective, I guess. Of like, why wouldn't you just hire a babysitter?
Exactly. I don't understand that.
You can't be that broke that yes, her company is in financial straits, but like I don't know. I still don't quite get that whole part of it, but I guess like you wouldn't want a babysitter to stay there for like multiple days on end, I guess. But like you're literally leaving your 8-year-old child.
Right.
If she probably like 7 at this point, 7 or 8, you know?
Yep.
Because she's 9 in the present day.
Yep.
So how young was she earlier, you know?
I can only assume that it might be because she doesn't want Maria hanging out with someone long enough to like let slip that she is abusive to her at times too, perhaps. But even then, I don't know. Like
but she's also abusive in public.
That's true too. So,
and it's like my only thing is I can only assume that she doesn't want other people to question why she's letting someone else raise her child, essentially, because you know she's leaving for weeks. Or days at least on end, and this person would have to be there for that entire time. But like that has to, you know, obviously we're Americans here, we don't know Japanese customs, but like that has to, having a babysitter for days on end has to look better than you leaving your 7-year-old child home alone days on end, you know? Like obviously she didn't want anyone to know about that, but they're going to eventually, and they did.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, I also don't think it's like that wild for a rich person to want to do that, especially because a lot of rich people tend to be busier with like their jobs or whatever which is what makes them rich or whatever. So like they have to run their companies or whatever. So it's like, it's not unheard of for like I mean, again, like you said, we don't know Japanese customs with these kind of things, but it's not really unheard of in most cases for like a rich person to like be sort of an absentee parent or whatever, because like they're busy with their work to keep the roof over their heads or whatever. And like not just themselves, but all their workers as well are also dependent on them and things like that. So it's one of those things where it's a little more understandable in some cases for that kind of thing. But this just feels like Rosa just hates Maria and does not want to even like have somebody take care of her. Like she does not give a fuck, which is weird because we had entire segments where it seemed like it was trying to make us sympathetic to Rosa, like in like episode 2. But then again, that was like Rosa's episode, I guess. So perhaps it was like more of like influenced by that perspective, perhaps. Because like, man, especially in this one with like what happens with Sakutaro. Oh my God. So like you were saying, eventually somebody's going to find out. And of course, like somebody finds out because Maria is going out to go pick up groceries, drops her key at some point, loses it. And is like, well, now I don't have a way in the house. Let me go like get somebody. Ends up at like a police station. They try to call her work and they're like, oh, she's on vacation. So like not only is the police getting involved because she locked herself out of her house. How's she going to get back in or whatever? You trust your daughter. Not only do you leave your daughter home alone, you tell her to go pick up like food nearby at night by herself, to like survive. And then like get mad at her when she walks around town with like her stuffed teddy bear or whatever, or stuffed lion. I keep forgetting it's a lion. Stuffed lion.
Yeah, which is supposed to, like, if she didn't have that, it would make her less recognizable. But it's like,
you're right.
Yeah, but also she's a 7-8-year-old child. That's going to be recognizable regardless.
And and like I already thought that, like, not even just from a childcare perspective, just from the fact that she's an Ushiromiya. And from what I could tell, it sounds like their family is pretty fucking reputable at this time frame. It's a pretty big name is what it seems like. You probably don't want her wandering around alone in case she gets kidnapped and literally held for ransom for Ushiromiya money. It's especially not good knowing that you guys are fucking around and fighting out with your buddy, you know? But that's a whole, that's a whole thing.
It was all this time.
But like, it's just really, it sucks seeing the, like, because Anjay knows with like the truth while reading these entries where it's like Maria may sound like things are fine, but she knows the truth of like it was just Rosa just leaving her alone or whatever. Like it was the Sakutaro thing was like she would bring Sakutaro with her because it kept her in company. It was like Maria's best friend. Even though like in her head Sakutaro's real and talking with her and everything like that. In reality, she's probably just speaking as Sakutaro, but like in a mumble or whatever is what it looked like. And it's like that also sets off Rosa because she's like, I told you not to carry around that creepy doll. It makes you say those creepy things or whatever. But this is a doll that you handcrafted for Maria. At least that's what we're told. It sounded like that was the case. So
yeah, because she's a fashion designer, so she does sewing stuff.
Yeah, so she like especially loved Sakutaro, not just because it was like her friend or her favorite toy. It was her favorite toy because it was made by her mother, and she actually does care about her mother, despite how abusive that she can be to her at times, which is just awful. Where like Rosa gets pissed because now like social workers come around being like, hey, so we've heard you've been leaving your daughter just alone for like weeks, and you even have her going out grocery shopping by herself like at night because you're not there, and that you're not even at work. You're like on dates while you're doing this or whatever. And she's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Slams the door shut. Maria, you little shit. And then starts like beating her and then like grabbing Sakutaro and like ripping it up. Like those, man, fucking gore scenes with Sakutaro, the stuffed animal, was like more terrifying to me than like some of the other gore, just because of like the emotional stuff surrounding it, how like much I know it's fucking with Maria seeing that shit. That's terrible. Why would you do that? Like, what was it? She had like these other little toy things too that she would just slammed against the wall. I was like, fuck with me again and I'll break more of them. Oops, how did that happen? Haha, you have more of them, don't you? I'm gonna break more of them. You fuck with me. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Rosa. So later on when we're seeing the scenes of Witch Maria torturing her mom, I'm like, yes, let's go. Don't forgive her. Keep this up forever. Fuck with her. Okay. Fuck you, Rosa. And like Rosa's just like fuck you. I've always hated you. Like, you've always been like the reason why I've never been able to continue on with you basically robbed me of my life by being born. Even your father left us because of you, and because of you now my life is shit. It's like, bro, why
Everyone takes first throats.
I'm just like, I on the one hand, I understand the like mindset that some people can have about like how their life's being robbed or whatever, but it's not the kid's fucking fault. The kid didn't choose to be born. You can't blame the kid for that. Like, the kid didn't do that. They're just there and have to exist for like at least 18 years before you can like tell them to fuck off or whatever. If you really want to treat it like that, you can't just be like that to them that time. That's fucked up. But like, I don't understand. Okay, it must be just because it's the Ushiromiya name that she can't. Like, I'm just thinking like, bro, you hate her so much. Why don't you just like give her away to like an orphanage or some shit, or like give her to like some other Ushiromiya family member or some shit like that. Like, I don't understand. If you really hate her this much, are you literally only taking care of her out of obligation to the family? Is that what this is? Like, because it seems like she like violently hates her or whatever. But like then at times we see the scenes where she acts like that she's really her mother and she really wants to protect her or whatever. I don't understand what it is. Because I don't understand what's going on in Rosa's head anymore with that. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like it. All I know is I'm rooting for Rosa's downfall every single episode. Every single one. Not a single one passes by where I don't want to see her tortured multiple times and gored multiple times. I'm just saying, in a video game, in Umineko when they cry, all episodes, okay? So, all right, Rosa rant, I think done, unless something else comes up that I'm not remembering related to Rosa. I mean, again, it's all bullshit. I mean, again, Remy, how did you feel about the Rosa stuff? Like, having read the visual novel, how did the visual novel present that kind of stuff compared to the manga stuff?
Pretty similar for the Rosa stuff. It was pretty one-to-one-ish.
Yeah.
I say ish just because, like, obviously in the visual novel, all these scenes are extended, but for hers was very close. Anjay's was pretty much like the only one in episode 4 so far that I've seen that was, like, cut down significantly, but...
I was surprised, again, of how, I mean, maybe it's just because the last 2 volumes we had so much of Anjay backstory. These 2, there wasn't as much, or even like future stuff or whatever. It was more just like, here's the incident that happened with her, and then the rest of it is mostly just about Maria's backstory, and then the actual, like, 4th game, or whatever. Which, again, it was all interesting. Like I said, the Rosa stuff evoked a very, like, powerful reaction from me, and, like, a good way for like fiction wise, a bad way in terms of like what's happening to the characters. Like, fuck Rosa. All right, we hate Rosa here in this house.
All my homies hate Rosa.
All my homies hate Rosa. Okay, and like that stuff was horrifying with like the Sakutaro tearing apart thing. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory also just falling apart violently when they were like supposed to be Anjay's friends was also terrifying because they also didn't really do anything except try to help her to the best of their ability. Anjay wouldn't even let them like explain that they can't help because she was just so upset at the moment. But like, I guess that stuff's a little more understandable though, because it's like this was all just imaginary creations by, at least it's how it's presented, as imaginary creations by her that she was using to help herself get over some of her stuff. Whereas Maria, that stuff ain't fake. That's all real. That's Rosa being a piece of shit. Well, probably. It's either that or this is all like Anjay's theories about what probably actually was happening to Maria based on reading the entries in the journal. But she seems to think that her reaction to Maria inviting her to play with Sakutaro one day and her saying, Sakutaro is not real or whatever. I want to go outside, play outside or whatever, instead of playing with like stuffed animals. She seems to think that that might have caused a chain reaction that ended up with Rosa freaking the fuck out on her and like tearing it up. So, you know, if those events happen as they did, which based on some of the stuff I've seen in the previous like episodes, I'm inclined to believe that they did. Fuck Rosa. We hate Rosa. All right. Anjay only wishes the best for Maria. Okay, is what it seems like. Except, I mean, she can only wish for it like a past tense, I guess, because they all died or whatever. And
Whoops.
so because like Anjay only hung out with her like a few times growing up, I'm assuming, like maybe during the annual things or whatever they would hang out. But like they would hang out is what it sounded like. And afterwards, now it's just she's keeping up the memory of Maria through reading the entries and like creating an imaginary friend, a Maria based on the entries and like Maria's ideas of what a witch is or whatever. But like, yes, the transformation of like the journal entries for Maria, for me, and like me and Sakataro played to like mommy's mad again or like shit like that. I forget, there was like specific scenes or pages that they showed where it just not good what's going on with Maria, but we kind of knew that. But so we have an explanation now for why Sakutaro was not there on the island, despite how much he was
dead.
He is dead, and Rosa very angrily and evilly said Sakutaro is dead right to her face in a very terrifying set of panels to her. So it's a little concerning, but. Let's talk about the fourth game.
One more thing I want to mention because I found it funny.
What's that?
At one point, Angie goes like full like Benitoite from Land Illustrious. It's like, buddy, you're fucking weird. I don't know what to tell you.
Wait, who does that?
Angie says to Maria, "You're fucking weird."
Oh yeah. She's like, what are you talking about? Sakutaro's not real. My mommy told me they're just stuffed toys. What do you mean? What are you talking about? That yeah. I mean, like again, Maria was using Sakutaro and her other stuffed animals to cope with her situation there. Anjay tried the same with her school. Only she had the realization that Anjay had the benefits of at least. Anjay had the benefit of at least being a little older and already having years of pretty much being like neglected, I guess, because Ava does not give a fuck about Anjay at all. And it's just like, fuck off to boarding school. Okay, bye. And then everyone there is a piece of shit to her too. Because I believe, as Ari had said last week, most of the other girls at the school are probably also abandoned rich kids. So they all essentially have picked out a target in Anjay to like let out all their trauma shit. It's a cycle of fucking over people, and it's not good. But the fourth game, which is also not good in the sense that people are dying, but amazing in the sense that my boy Kinzo has come out. Grandpa rolled out of bed today and he said, "It's time to murder. Let's begin the ritual." And he started
Grandpa
killing.
rolled up out of bed, brought out 3 scantily clad bunny girls.
Based, Grandpa.
And said,
Let's go.
"You thought I was dead. Now I'm gonna make you dead."
So
Kinzo like, you thought it was great Beatrice, but it was sorry, Kinzo.
It's amazing. Okay, I was wondering when we were finally gonna get like more Kinzo action other than him just being quietly in a room, and now he's here and he's like, let's begin the games. So the reason why Kinzo has come out is that a theory has been brought up, and I'm surprised I didn't think of this before, but I think it was because earlier I was not in the mindset of some of these narratives just being like blatant lies in terms of characters talking to like certain other characters when no supernatural things have happened or whatever. Usually I assume if there's a supernatural fight, this is not happening as I see it. But if there's not, many times I'm probably more like inclined to believe that this is like a real interaction or like a version of an interaction that may have happened between these two characters. And so in my head, this person may have interacted with this character. But a theory is brought up that because all the adults getting ready for the meeting, specifically Kirie, are just like, there's probably a reason why Kraus really doesn't want us to see Grandpa. It's probably because he's already dead. We were told last year you only had months to live, and somehow he's still kicking. So, but we haven't seen him, and we're being told we cannot see him. So I don't think he's alive. So they try to do something like, listen, if you take care of him until he dies from natural causes, of an actual like natural way, then we'll just resign to not look at Grandpa or whatever, and you can keep the inheritance as the person who's taking care of him. But if he turns out to not die from natural causes, then you, who was supposed to be taking care of him, are obviously responsible, and therefore we will get all of the money. And Kraus is obviously like, well, can't have that for like multiple. In my head, I'm just thinking like, you would never agree to that just because of the idea of like, if I agree to this, one of these fuckers is going to try to kill Grandpa, and then they're going to take the money from me, and then blame me for killing him or whatever. Which, I'm not even going to let them have that option. There's a lot more of them than me. Fuck that shit, okay? So, even if he really didn't want them to see them for whatever reason, like, that's a whole thing. And Kyrie probably knows this, is why, like, she brought this up as, like, an idea for them to push towards with this. And so Kraus is like, yeah, sure. I'll go see if I can get Grandpa to show up. I'll go see if I can get him to show up for dinner. And Battler's talking with Beatrice in the meta world with Anjay there now too. And it's like, Grandpa not being there the whole time. That is one theory. He tries to get Beatrice to speak in red related to that. And she is now refusing to speak in red for this game as long as she can. They've now established clear guidelines for how the game is won. I'm going to see if I can remember the specifics of it. But it sounded like something like he has to be able to prove or explain the deaths in ways that witches could not have done them. And if Beatrice can even have one, can even cast it down on even one of them, then she has won the game. But if Battler can explain all of them in a way, like as murders that a human could have done, I don't know if it was also a burden of like who did them specifically or whatever, but it sounded like as long as he can has no doubts that a witch was not the sole person responsible for these deaths, then like he would be the winner. I forget the exact rules specifically, how it was worded by Beatrice, but the nature of it says that Beatrice doesn't actually have to say shit until towards the end, when she absolutely has to address at least one of the things. She doesn't even have to address all of the things. She only has to address one of the things, because if even one of her things gets through, then she wins the game, essentially. I don't know if this necessarily means that Beatrice has technically won all the games prior, or if these have still been considered like ties in certain ways. I'm not sure how that kind of thing works, but all we do know is that Battler has
a salty run back every time.
Battler has not won, essentially, yet, because Battler is still stuck in this kind of thing. So whether or not it's been Beatrice winning, or if it's been ties the whole time, I don't know what the exact rules are with that. We'll probably be clarified more so about that, probably towards the end of this, maybe. But we are introduced to a new concept, because we had the red text before, which Beatrice is not going to be using for a while, and now we have the blue text, which is statements that Battler can make. Let me see if I understand this right. There are statements that Battler can make which must be responded to in some way eventually by Beatrice, because they directly contradict the theory of witches committing these things. So if Beatrice does not respond to them in some kind of way later, then she's essentially saying that, okay, you win with that line of argument or whatever. A witch could have done that, or a witch couldn't have done that, or a human could have done that, and therefore you don't have to believe in a witch for this kind of situation. Is what it sounds like. They have to specifically be statements related to the existence of witches committing these kind of acts. So the example they gave was like the statement about there only being 5 master keys. You would have to reword it as something like, there were, I forget what it was. There's only 5 master keys, and a human used them or some shit like that. I don't remember what it was. I'm trying to find it here now, but it was like a specific example about the keys. I will
like
find
more than 5 keys, I believe. Is something like that?
Oh, it might have been something like that. In actuality, there were 6 keys, and that's why there actually is a chance that somebody other than the people who had the 5 keys that we knew about could have done it, and therefore a witch was not, because it's trying to say like, if there's only 5 master keys, and only these 5 people who have the master keys could have done it. But if there's a 6th one, then that has to either be addressed by the witch by saying there's only 5 master keys, like in red text, and there is no 6 master keys, or something to that effect. Like that has to be responded to. Otherwise, like, you can't go with the argument of there's no way somebody could get there. There's only 5 masks. But if there's the idea that it's the same thing with like the amount of people, right? If you say there's not actually 18 people on the island, there could be a 19th person. Beatrice has to respond to that because that could essentially explain almost everything that's happened that would be thought to be only capable of a witch doing. But it's solved because you add in another person. So unless Beatrice responds to that, Battler essentially wins with that line of questioning. Is this correct with my assumption of this, Aramia?
Sorry.
So the blue text, basically the blue text is his theories of how not a witch committed these acts, but rather how a human could have committed them.
Right.
And she has to disprove all of them, because if you leave even one, then there is room to deny the existence of a witch. And her whole thing is, he has to accept me. So if even one theory can work, then you can deny the witch.
Right. It's still kind of confusing. I mean, I think I get it, but it's like, I understand it as like we're specifying it apart from the others just because of the fact that Beatrice is not going to be using red text for a while. And so the blue text are things that are going to be brought up again later on because Beatrice has to address them in some kind of way because, like you said, then we have doubt whether or not a witch could have done it. And
yeah, she's specifically not doing the red text yet because it can be disadvantageous to her.
Yeah, because all it's been doing so far is just giving Battler more information that he could then like use this. Because like in my mind, the whole point of this whole game going on is that, you know, obviously a witch did not do these things, but she's trying to cast enough doubt to make it appear that a witch did all these things, and through doing so, it's an information game where you reveal just enough information, but not enough to like tell them exactly what happened to her, because otherwise you could just say some shit in red text like witches are real and they killed this person or whatever. Like it. I mean, it could also just be Beatrice just wants to fuck with him and mess with him, and like she's not allowed to say that shit or whatever just because it's more fun this way. But more likely, as the Battler in this podcast, okay, I'd say witches are bullshit, and that's why she can't fucking say it, and that's why this game has to go on. It's because there is an answer, and I could come up with it myself, okay? All my notes are ready, all right? Real quick, Dat Boy in the Twitch chat. Actually, I'm confused, but I don't lurk in the shadows and come out and strangle someone. What? Oh, Jesus Christ. Can you make it be Rosa Ushiromia, please? Can you do that? In Umineko when they cry?
Funny.
Do that, Dat Boy.
Comedy.
Just stay away from me, please. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, I'm busy shredding Wolfborg myself. Sorry. This neck's been taken.
We had a new demon get introduced. Well, Kinzo shows up with like the 3 bunny girls or whatever, which we'd seen before. I don't know if it's the same exact ones. I don't remember. They're all based on numbers. They all say like numbers of their names. I don't remember they're the same 3.
I don't think y'all saw the long-haired one. She's blonde, like the kind of commander of them, but the other 2 were in episode 3.
Right. And they said that they also lost one of them. I don't remember if we saw that. But they said they lost one of them at some point.
I think that was from the doll getting smashed by Rosa.
Oh,
ding, 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 ding.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, okay, I forgot about that because
we lost one of them. I wonder.
Like I said
ding,
again,
ding, ding.
I read some of this. This is why I don't like reading earlier. Okay, in the week because then I forget all the shit. Yeah, that's great for you, Shadow. Okay, I said for me. I'm getting old. All right, you're not old yet. You're getting there. All right, but you're not there yet. You're getting there. We're all getting there, okay? But I'm closer, okay? I'm closer to there. I'm not there yet. I'm not old, okay? I'm not old. Anyways, yes. So they lost one of them. Rosa, okay? Fuck you, Rosa. All my homies hate Rosa.
Rosa L.
Even the demons hate Rosa. All right, listen. And so we had another demon, Gap, Gaap or whatever.
Gap.
Now. Here's a question.
However,
was this supposed to be one of the goat demon things that we saw before? Because I thought there was a goat demon that had a name like that before, but I don't know if I was misremembering that. Is this supposed to be a completely different thing, or
No,
was
she's a demon.
Well, I know she's a demon, but I didn't know if she was like supposed to be one of the goat demons, because I thought in one of the loops we had like a specific goat demon show up, and I thought it had the same name, but I might have been wrong. But I understand they're all fucking demons, so it doesn't matter. They're all demons, okay?
Look, okay, I'm just glad that the demons abide by the generally accepted accounting principles.
Yes, and Gop and Ronove, so they have like fighting sequences, but the fighting sequences are set up because Kinzo decides to have a test. After he shows up, his big entrance to be like, ha, fucking loser kids, guess what? I showed up. So now you want to bring me into the talks about the inheritance. Well, guess what? I'm here to talk about it. I gave you guys a fucking epitaph for years, and none of you even thought about it, okay? So guess what? That's off the table now.
You.
Fuck all of you, all right? I tried. I said literally any of
Y'all
you could
are
get
cringe.
it. Any of you could get it if you even bothered to read it. I even had it like set up in like several areas. Or it's huge. You can't fucking miss it. It's right there. It's right there under my beautiful portrait of Beatrice. You can see it. You can see it right along with her. So none of you did it. Fuck you guys, all right? So, who's gonna get it? Is it gonna be Kraus? Fuck no, it's not gonna be Kraus. He like goes around the table being like, fuck no, it's not you. Fuck no, it's not you. Fuck no, it's not you. None of you guys are getting it. Why should I give it to any of you? You're all fucking useless, okay? None of you are worthy of it, all right? So, maybe the grandkids, if they're worthy. So we're gonna have to test them, okay? But, well, we could test them later. For now, we have to start the ritual. And the adults are like, what are you talking about now? What's the ritual? Well, the ritual is that you're all going to fucking die. So we're just going to start blasting. Start just murdering all the adults.
Bunch of bitches right out of the void. Honestly, this is impressive.
So we murder several of them right from the beginning. I think it was like Rudolph.
It was Natsuhi, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, Eva, Genji, and Rosa.
Yeah. So we had like Kraus, Nanjo, Kirie, Cannon, and Shannon like left over, and who have been teleported then because Gap can like spawn like portal holes anywhere or whatever. So it just like made like a trapdoor below them, and it went to an underground cell, which is supposedly underneath the Kumadorian mansion, the hidden mansion that's supposed to be on the island. Supposedly it's in like the tunnels of that or like underneath that. Supposedly the mansion's very beautiful if you're above ground. You know, it's very beautiful.
If you're underground,
if you're underground, it's not very nice. But we got a telephone here though, so you can enjoy that, I guess. So the test is, so they phone call the kids and the grandkids, and they say, so we got some of your parents, we killed some of them, but we got some of the other ones. You're gonna get called to certain locations at certain times. After you lock away the two servants that ran away, you're gonna lock them in a shed thing so that they can't get out at all. We're not fucking around with that. It was like, was that Goda and the woman, the old lady servant? Kumasawa. Okay, you're gonna lock them away, and then you kids, you're gonna stay in this place until you're called for your test. And so far we've seen Jessica and George get tested. Now the test is they get a piece of paper, and the paper says you pick one, save one to sacrifice the other two. And it was like yourself, a specific loved one. So like in George's case it was Shannon, and in Jessica's case it was Cannon, and everyone else is the third option. So you gotta pick one to kill to save the other two, right? I might have said it backwards the first time, but you gotta pick one to kill to save the other two. And the answer to the question is not really as important as how you answer it specifically. One is the reason, but more specific for Kinzo is how determined and how swiftly you can come to that determination with it is more important for him. He wants to see more of the decision making. In his eyes, the point of the test is to pick the head of the next head of the family. And so he's less concerned about which option you pick, even though he's very judgmental towards the bunny girls who are then in the room he asked the question to, and they all give a different answer, and they're all wrong somehow because of the way that they answer it, and like their
They're
reasoning
all
behind
cringe.
it. So he basically yells at them, "Get the fuck out of here! What the fuck is wrong?" And the bunnies go crying to Virgilia. It's very man, kid's so mean to us. Why is he so mean? They just murdered several people for you kids, though. Why do you gotta be so fucked up to that? That's just the nature of him being sexist, probably. But that's whatever, you know. Anyways, so George and Jessica each have the choice. I want to say George picked everyone else, and Jessica picked myself. So like kill me or whatever, kill Jessica. But Jessica then or not Jessica. George flipped his answer to be like everyone else, to be like everyone includes you, demon woman, giving me this test or whatever, and it begins to like fight her. And then Jessica was fighting Ronove, but both of them just begin fighting the demon that's giving them the test. George is fighting Gap, who has the portals or whatever, so good luck with that, George. And Jessica is fighting Ronove, who's not really fighting himself. He just is putting up a shield, and she's trying to punch.
Fun kid.
She has like brass knuckles, which is pretty fucking cool for Jessica to have. She's like trying to punch Ronove. I think she gets like one sucker punch in before he starts bringing up like barriers and shit. He's like, well, good luck with that. And then eventually he's like, well, now your hits are just gonna hit back to you. But she's like, I could tell the shield's breaking though, so I'm making it eventually.
I'm making progress.
It's a thing where like Ronove is like at least like gaining respect for Jessica in like the way that she's how hard that she's fighting for this or whatever. Gab just seems like she's terrified of being considered a failure for fucking up and like getting her ass kicked by George, and George is kicking her ass, in fact, with facts and logic. Okay. Literally, he's like jumping to kick her, and he like calculates like, oh, obviously she's gonna trick me, and so that she could use a portal below me, and I'm gonna be falling from the sky. So naturally, I will just kick as if I'm like 3 stories up or whatever. So then it'll all work out because that's how that's gonna happen, right? And then like yeah, so that whole sequence of events is happening, okay, in this game, and then even with that, it turns out magic is now involved for George. George turns out to have some kind of magic. I believe Jessica might have too. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And it seemed like their magic was determined by like their determination or whatever. Not that they've been like practiced mages or whatever, but that like their just determination at that moment.
Is that his time?
Yeah, pretty much, you know. You would say Toby Fox is a fraud and just stole from Ryukishi, right? You know? So, I mean, basically. But George the whole time is saying, having like a whole monologue off against Gap, where like, George is just like, or Gap is like, a king has to be like ready to have aggression at times or whatever. And George is like, you're right, a king does. But he doesn't actually use that for violence. He uses it for show, to like, influence things or whatever, to like be like, I'm not gonna hit you, but I want you to think that I could, so that I can like keep certain people in line or whatever, so that like everybody I love can be like protected and things like that or whatever. But yeah, Gap is getting destroyed, summons demons that were supposed to be watching the prisoners, so then the prisoners just break out because Cannon and Shannon are there and they have their own magic power, so they just cut through the bars, and then they're running out. The bunny girls that are there are trying to like shoot arrows to them. Shannon and Cannon are like being gods among men, blocking all of them until they're just like, well, it's enough of that shit. And then they're bringing like a real big one. I forget. So how did they get away from the last one? Did they? Oh, it was Shannon basically stopped the gun or like the arrow or whatever from shooting for a while with like ethereal armor or some shit. It was basically short-circuited the like bunny girls, who are assumed to also be some kind of like robot things or whatever, because they're saying like calculations and like rebooting and ethereal things or whatever. So they're like seem to be presented as like mechanical beings powered by like ether or whatever, and so they've been like overloaded by Shannon in order to stop them from like shooting them for a while, and then they were able to continue trying to break out. I thought as well I saw, was Nanjo trying to like help one of the demons that they injured? What was going on with that? I think there was like one panel where Nanjo was just like, I'll leave your prescription for later. Okay, I gotta go, for like a demon that was like on the ground. What is going on with that? Which obviously leads me to believe that, like, you know, Battler brain in me is saying like these are probably just other servants on the island. They're being told to do certain things or whatever. The actual people, not goat-headed demons. You know, wild to assume, I know, but
they're all Trudy.
And like Nanjo being a doctor is like, well, I mean, you were probably trying to hurt us or whatever, but it might have been like a servant that I knew or something like that. So I don't know if that's what that scene was supposed to like hint at or whatever, but I definitely saw that panel and I was confused. I was like looking through it over and I'm like, is that a demon boy in the ground? Is Nanjo helping the demon boy who was trying to keep them in prison? What the fuck's going on here? But doctors, you know, is doctors. Okay. We get into like a whole ass action sequence, which in most cases, like the last episodes, they look cool. I will not deny that they look cool, but my eyes sort of glaze over during some of them because again, I'm Battler brain and I'm like, none of this shit probably happened. None of this shit happened. So I don't even know why I'm registering it because none of it happened. Like, I understand for fiction, like storytelling wise, obviously they want to show it to us, make it look hype. But in my head, Battler brain is ruining some of this for me because I'm just like, yeah, okay, I understand. None of this happened though, so can we move on now? Like, what? Show me the actual.
Jordan's definitely fighting someone.
Show me the actual. Show me the actual dead bodies at the end. I know you're trying to create an elaborate story for how these dead bodies were made, but show me the dead bodies at the end, and I'll just tell you that's bullshit. So I'm just saying.
Look, I know you hate Battle Shonen, but your hatred is leaking out now.
I guess so. I guess so. What can I say?
It's in the air, chap. I can sense it.
What can I say? I was a born hater. You know, I was just born to hate. I was hating it from day one. No, again, like I said, it does look cool. I like how the artist does some of the action stuff. Although you had posted one of the frames or whatever of Battler's face, which I didn't notice at the time, but yeah, that's was there a lot more cases of like crunch that you were noticing that I did not notice?
That was just one that was like, whoa.
Battler's face. Listen, don't make fun of Battler, okay? He's just a little guy.
Is he?
Well, I mean, listen. It's fine. Soichiro's doing his best. This is the artist for this episode. He's doing his best. Doing their best. I believe in them and everything that they do. I think you're doing a good job. I think you're doing good. Okay? Listen, you're doing fine with the action. I'm just saying, narrative-wise, okay? I'm just like, I know this is bullshit. I know this didn't happen like this. Why are you showing it to me for so long like this? I get it. It's because it looks cool. All right? I get it. But I want to get back to the blue text, red text, yellow text, green text, whatever kind of text we're doing today. All right.
The whole rainbow.
I want to get back to the trial of the century here because all this is bullshit. Okay. We're not going to be arguing about the dynamics of George's kick in relation to this like demon that can spawn portals. That's not going to be a part of the trial. You know, that's not going to be a part of the trial. The trial is going to be, hey, so Battler died and his body looks like this and it's in this room and it has these conditions around it. So explain that.
Hold on. Battler can't be dead. He's the one in the courtroom.
Well,
you can't have a little bit of set dressing. Come on.
Well, listen, they can address the set all they want once they show me the actual set and not the bullshit leading up to the set. I'm just saying, But no, I joke mostly with that. Like, it is still fun to read the action stuff, but like, again, there is just something in the back of my head. There is just something in the back of my head just saying like, okay, I know they're trying to show this, but what's probably actually happening, because like, I have two big mysteries in my head that I'm trying to unravel. One is whether or not the events we're being shown are happening as they happen. And obviously, if they're not, in cases like supernatural fights happening, how are they actually happening? That's the one layer of it. The other layer is the whole question of like, each episode, the events of like how people are dying being different, which ones are supposed to be like the actual like line of like which ones actually happened, or which ones are only like exclusive for that episode, or if all of these are just separate entire murder mysteries that are like entirely separate stories. That's a whole other lance in that thing. It's a lot more complicated, the overarching like mystery with the Umineko stuff. But it's already confusing me, being like, I have all this information from other episodes, but I'm seeing deaths happen in certain ways in this episode, but like some of them are bullshit and some of them look legit. So which one am I supposed to focus on? Like, so here's the one thing that I will say, because we have not had Beatrice address the Kinzo is not dead situation yet. It has not been addressed by Beatrice yet, because Beatrice doesn't feel like she has to, because we're literally seeing scenes where Kinzo shows up and is like mocking the adults or whatever. Counter argument, he then kills like half the people in that room, imprisons the other half, and then the kids don't actually see them. In my head, we still don't know if Kinzo's dead or not. So I'm just saying that already. If you have Kinzo show up and then he immediately kills the people who saw him, that does not tell me he's alive. I'm just saying. That doesn't tell me whether or not he's alive. So that's already one thing.
You're right. No wonder Kinzo's been so good recently. It's honestly a little sus.
Again, like, it is definitely a strong theory in my head about Kinzo not being alive at the start of this or whatever. Might have already been dead. And that, again, adds towards the line of questioning that we had before where I believe it was Beatrice who listed out, like, each person who is dead. And yet, listing each person who's dead, counting them all out, and saying that there's only 18 people in Rokujima or something like that. But the numbers can, again, be manipulated if one of those people was dead prior. If Kinzo was dead the whole time, then you can explain it like that, because it doesn't actually clarify this is the order that they died in, and if it is, these are like the times that they died in, like they died that day or whatever. Like if they list Kinzo died first, that could mean that Kinzo died first that night, or it could mean that he died like months ago, and he is technically the first to have died on this island, but you just didn't know when he died. And that's why like we see his body at times like burned or whatever, but like you can tell it's still him because like like you're burning the body because you're fucking with it probably. But again, we don't know. And it's a whole thing that gets questioned with me, because like in some of the episodes you just don't ever find Kinzo. In some of them, he's like a dead body, he's like burned or whatever. In this one, he's alive and running the show, but so far none of the grandkids have seen him yet. And even that, I don't even know if that would matter, because supposedly everybody is eventually going to die later. I don't know if the events will be different here. We already know that one thing is different, is that Ava is killed here, whereas in the past episode, we know that Ava makes it out alive. So that's already a fact that's like different from that. I mean, and that's different from the last episodes too, because Ava doesn't live in the other two, I don't think either. But I have theories that I don't know if I should be presenting them here tonight, or if I should be presenting it in that like week period that we said we were going to be presenting theories, if we had any or whatever, the like a little intermission period thing. But I have theories, okay? I have some of which I think are crazy, okay? But I don't think I think that there's a possibility for some of them. Okay, I think that there's possibilities. All right, but I have theories. But the big one right now is whether or not Kinzo is alive. And right now, the story may try to make you and Battler think that we have proven Kinzo is alive without Beatrice having to use the red text. But bullshit. Okay, you can't just show me that and have me believe it when you then have him also do supernatural battles to kill all the people who witnessed him. All right. And then like the adults are only communicating with the kids through a telephone afterwards. And it's not even Kinzo doing it. It's like the imprisoned parents trying to inform them about the situation. Anything could weirdly be happening. Okay. They might not be in a cell at all for all the kids know. They don't know what the fuck's going on. All right, but all they do know is that they're being tested. They're being told you have to do this and that. The only thing that they know is that the servants came up to them saying the master has gone crazy, he started killing people, and then they were told to lock them away in like a shed. Now, obviously, the locking them in the shed, they lock them in like a shed with a shutter that is only able to be locked and unlocked from the outside, and then they gave them the key through like a tiny window into the shed. obviously setting up a sealed room for them to later also be discovered in my head. They're dead. They're more than dead. And we're gonna be like, explain that, Battler. How did they get in to be killed? How did they kill them if they had the key and they were inside of there? Battler, explain that. I already know that's what's
Riddle me this, Battler.
Like, I don't know if the blue text means that Beatrice must address it in red text, or if it means that all it has to be is that, like, Battler gives up on that line of questioning, and, like, if seeing Kinzo in the scene seems to do that or whatever, I don't know what to say to Battler at that point. If you tell me that, listen, these people witnessed him, but then they also died, I'm not going to tell you the shit in red text, just believe me, bro, Battler, what are you doing? That's, like, one of those things where, like, that's obviously going to be something Battler could question, and then Anjay's just going to, like, think to have Battler not question it. Yeah, because she, like, wants to keep the game going in her way. But, I mean, she's still kind of struggling.
No Alex. He's all on his own. Everyone's fucking with him.
You know, like, Burncastle seems like they want to help Battler, but they also are, like, very hands-off about it. They're just like, good luck, and then, like, they step the fuck away. Lambda Delta is, like, actively fucking with it in real time. And because she, like, I mean, she seems very effective at manipulating Anjay, like, immediately identifying that, like, you have literally made Battler everything in your life for this. And so, I mean, and in my head it's symbolic of, like, in reality it's probably more symbolic of, like, Anjay just forever trying to look into the mystery, or, like, whether or not she just accepts that Battler's gone or not. Because in reality she's probably still continuing the investigation with Bungo Stray Dog Boy, to, like, look into it in the future about what happened now that Ava's gone in her world or whatever. But it's herself questioning whether or not she should even be continuing this, or if this is just going to be going on forever and she's just going to be, like, wasting her life clinging on to that instead of just moving on from Battler or whatever. Like, it's probably going to be something like that in my head. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on with these two volumes. There's a lot of stuff. And I'm just here, like, I'm waiting for the next two volumes. The next two volumes, because I know we're going to have to wrap up episode 4 in the next two volumes. Don't know if that necessarily means we're going to be wrapping up the game, but most likely it's going to be wrapping up the game, because each episode seems to be wrapping up the game.
Should be.
Yeah. That, like, unless the manga does something weird, the episode will wrap up.
No, might be a little bit tomfoolery at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, and I'm just ready for it, because I'm ready for. Here's the other thing too. I'm ready for the logical debates between Battler and Beatrice about what actually happened that time, but also Beatrice being like, I don't really have to address all your shit. I only have to address, like, the ones that disprove witches or whatever. To be like, are we actually going to get a ton of arguments here? Or is it actually just going to be like, here's more Kinzo murder, like, sequences, and then, like, now we get, I get to say you were wrong about, like, 3 things, and now we go back to the beginning, and then that's it. And then I'm like, oh, shit. All right, well, listen, I have these mysteries, okay, that I have to solve, all right? Each game is another set of mystery things that I'm supposed to solve with this story, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, am I supposed to be, again, I'm still struggling. Am I supposed to be judging right now? I'm pretty much just judging each episode individually, but then I'm also keeping my head.
Every episode individually.
That's what I'm doing right now in my head. But I'm also keeping in mind, trying to explain, like, the meta, like, reason for, like, the repeatedness of the loop happening of these kind of events or whatever. And I mean, I have some ideas, but again, I don't know if I want to get too into them today. But yeah, very interesting volumes now that the game has started. Again, very excited to see Kinzo taking charge here, even if it's potentially bullshit, and then he's potentially been dead from the start or whatever. It was nice to see the adults playing, like, a little, like, game of chicken with, like, Kraus and all them. Like, they're just, like, arguing for, like, Kinzo to, like, actually show up, and that, like, Kraus doesn't get to, like, hide Kinzo from them or whatever, under the excuse of, like, yeah, he just doesn't want to be involved with this discussion. You know, he's getting pretty sick. It's like, bro, doctor said last year he had like 3 months to live. You telling us he's still alive? Nah, dude. Nah, that fucker's dead, and you're just using his money. He's just dead, and you're not telling us so that you have all his money to yourself. Okay, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. It's a potentiality with that, and yeah, I've been thinking a lot more about some theory stuff with some of them because I'm just like, I literally, like I said earlier, wrote down the red text in every single episode that's happened in the manga so far. Okay, I have 4 pages of it right in front of me. All right, all of them. Okay, some of them I feel like it would be funny if they apply not just to that game but like to all of the games. Like that would be funny because it's like, wait a minute, they said this person died in this episode in this way. Does that mean they also died like that in the other episode in that way or whatever? And it's like dumb shit or whatever in my head. But yeah. So I enjoyed these 2 volumes. I enjoyed it. I know I said before, like, there's a lot of action. I know some of it's bullshit, but I mean, it's still fun to read. It's still fun to read. It's just, there's always, like, that voice in my head being like, this is cool, but none of this is happening. None of this is real. And, like, it kind of makes me at times feel like when I'm watching, like, some action movies, like fucking Fast and Furious or whatever, where it's like, okay, they're doing this cool car thing, but, when do they continue the story or whatever? And with like some of those things, like some specific action movies like Fast and Furious, like there's no point to watching those movies if you're thinking like that. In this, there is a reason to think like that though, which makes it a little trickier though, because this is not action slop here. This is like trying to be a thought-provoking like mystery loop thing of like all these situations and trying to get you to doubt whether or not a human did these acts. So in my head, I'm like, you're presenting me with this, you're presenting me with these rules. I'm essentially becoming Battler as the story progresses. So I'm just like, why even bothering to show me this when I know it's bullshit? Like, why are, like, just show me the dead bodies or whatever. But at the same time, I'm also just like, but these scenes are cool though, you know? So I get kind of mixed with those kind of things. But I am still enjoying the reading so far with this. That's what I'll clarify with that. So I don't know. What did other people think about the action sequences, the mystery so far with this stuff? Did we enjoy Kinzo? What are we thinking, chat? What are we thinking? Shadow, what are you thinking?
For the action scenes, I was like, okay, this is going to matter like later, but like in this moment, I'm going to enjoy it. You know? Yeah.
Did you enjoy the like portal fuckery, the little portal trolling that Gap was doing?
We did mention the fact that I think George and Jessica are dead? Question mark.
You think George and Jessica are dead? What's your theory? I mean, because they probably are, definitely. I mean, supposedly.
In the last panel, allegedly.
Did he? Maybe. I don't remember the exact last panel. I just remember him trying to do the whole like kick onto Gap. And I don't know if like, well, I mean, potentially from where he's falling, he will probably die.
Wait, hold on, let me pull it up. Hold on, let me grab it.
But the idea is that he'll at least take Gap with him or whatever. But I also don't know if like how he's falling onto her will like somehow save him.
Hold on. Wait, did I goof?
Oh no, I remember. I completely forgot. You're totally right. You're totally right, Shadow. You're totally right. Gap does one last trick at the end, where like. George is dropping down. Jessica's going to do her final punch to Runaway, and then Gap summons a portal that just brings Jessica in front of where Gap is instead, where like George's foot is going down. So they're basically about to kill each other, essentially.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, did I actually read chapter ahead than I should have? Whoops.
You might have accidentally. I don't know, because I'm just like. I just remember now.
The ending page definitely looks like they're about to connect.
Yeah. Again, like I said, read it a couple of days ago, so I like completely blanked on the very last stuff. But it's a very huge ending cliffhanger thing. So I can't believe I completely forgot it. But yeah, it was like a whole sequence showing us that they've been tricked and killed each other or whatever.
They've been deceived.
Which may just mean that they literally were instructed to kill each other.
Yeah, honestly, that could be the case.
or like
At least one of you's dying here, okay? I don't know what you can't
or someone killed them and made it look like that they killed each other or some shit like that. I don't know. It's probably gonna be something like next volumes we read. It's gonna be presented like they're both dead and it looks like that they were fighting each other. Perhaps, I don't know. But all we do know is that from the last panel, it appears to be they are both probably dead. And supposedly in the supernatural fight, they have accidentally killed each other through them being deceived through the demons, and Gap just teleporting one of them over to there. So they go psych, and then they're like brought over, and then George may or may not have like drop kicked fucking Jessica, and then also fell to his death while getting punched in the nuts with brass knuckle Jessica. You know, things like that may have happened. May have been very painful for everybody involved. A lot of blood. All I do know is that those servants are just trapped in that shed, and they are very much definitely also dead.
There's also one other thing I thought I'd mention, but I found it a little odd.
Yep.
It was either Ken or Shannon. One of them mentions here, like, God damn it, we're getting sacrificed again? What the fuck is our weight survivability ratio at?
What's the what? Say that again?
Like, what's our survivability ratio at? It's like super poor because we keep getting sacrificed.
Everybody getting sacrificed.
Which is weird.
That is one thing, yeah.
Yeah,
what
like, oh, wait,
Shadow's
they know.
Yeah, Shadow saying is that they do comment, Shannon and Cannon, they sit together in the prison cell and they comment how it's rare for them to make it to this far together.
Yes, so they're like aware of the repeating segments or whatever. They're like, at least in this episode, they're aware of the repeats that keep happening of like different events or whatever, but they are there for like the rituals or whatever. Supposedly in my head, it's supposedly because they are like furniture connected with like Beatrice and the demons or whatever. So the supernatural angle is why.
Explain
like,
this one, Bentler.
A part of me at some point wondered if the like bottles that were retrieved in like the Anjay's world that are like explaining the different stories, which we had also seen in the previous loops or whatever at the end, were like different potential outcomes for the deaths, and like several bottles were sent out, and like people, they potentially all died on the island, but like different scenarios of like how they died were planned and then accidentally sent out, or maybe potentially sent out to fuck with people. I don't know, but like there was essentially like different ideas of how everybody on the island would be killed, and one of them ended up being chosen in the end or something. That's what I was thinking as we were introducing like the bottles or whatever. It's like, why the fuck would you send the bottles out? And when I hear that the servants are like conscious of like the different chances of them surviving or whatever, you know, they might have been given knowledge about that stuff. One theory, I will say this one theory that I had, okay? I will say that because I can't wait to present this theory, okay? The one theory that I had, and again, is one of many of these theories I think might turn out to be complete and utter bullshit, but I think
in the moment,
okay? One theory I had was that because many of them have fucked around and found out with their debt, okay? Perhaps there's some kind of reason where Kinzo has also fucked around with his money and have found out, and so they found out that they don't have inheritance. And so what I'm trying to say is the family have all faked their death, and to get out of their death, they have all faked their death to get out of debt.
The elaborate story.
The episode, so they've all faked their deaths to get out of all of their debt, including Kinzo, or maybe he just actually died. He was pretty old, but like he might have died, and like they found out they actually have nothing in inheritance. Actually, they're all fucked, and so they've decided, you know what? Let's just fake our deaths. And they were trying to come up with like ideas to fake their deaths, and that's what the bottles are. But essentially, they are assuming new lives that are not Ushiromiya's to get out of their debt. And
so you're saying that each of the women were like, okay, well, I'm gonna make my own story. No, I'm gonna make my story.
Yeah. They were trying to come up with like different ideas for how to do it, and then they decided like, let's just send them all out to fuck with people, so that like they'll all have like these different ideas of like how we all died or whatever. And perhaps in like episode 3 where Ava survived, that was like Ava deciding like, you know what, you guys can all do that, but I'm gonna take the Ushiromiya name and see if I can like build a life for myself just based off that alone. after you guys are all dead, or maybe she didn't want to go along with it, so they trapped her in the like hidden mansion, and they went to do it, and then because she was then found alive there. Because the other thing too,
This is very interesting.
I don't remember if it was ever stated that they found the actual bodies of the other family members. I don't remember if that was actually stated in the episode 3, like in like Anjay's world. I remember they said an accident happened, and then it was assumed that their family died. But I had assumed, unless there was like a panel like confirming their dead bodies that I didn't realize, that it was like mostly
did.
just.
God damn it.
Well, if they did, then my whole theory is shot to shit. Okay, but if they didn't, then I feel like it's a pretty strong theory. All right, I think it's pretty good. All right, but again, that's also like a wild theory that like has a whole bunch of issues. So like, it's not. I just feel like it's an interesting theory that I had that I want to present to the class because again, okay. We have different scenarios happening, and I'm trying to wonder why we have different scenarios of the events happening, and even like one where there is a survivor and continuing facts afterwards. Is that like solid stuff that's like actually permanent, or is that only the case in that episode? I don't even fucking know. But yeah, so I just wanted to present one of my theories, okay? So that's a theory, a game theory, which will definitely be right. I have all sorts of great theories, all of them. All of them. Now,
Speaking of theories,
yes.
because I was reading the chapters today, so it's fresh on my memory.
Good.
There is a panel here in the chapters we read that is very important for future theory crafting. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there was a panel in what we read. It was kind of an aside. I'll say that. It was kind of an aside by a character.
I already know. I already know. I already know. It was Najo giving like like prescriptions to
It was
the
not that. It was not that.
It was 100%. No, that was real. That was real. I think it was the one panel from like episode 2 where they talked about how they stayed up all night playing visual novels to get ready for like their date. I think that was the important one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Aside from that one.
Okay.
What is Santa Claus?
There was a panel in the whatever we read today. That was important. It was just an aside that a character said. So it was a small panel as well. That's all I'll say. Very important for future theories.
Wow.
I was actually surprised.
Wow. Was it also there in the visual novel, or were you surprised because it was not there at that time?
It was in the VN, but it was kind of like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'm yeah.
Does
Yeah.
Shannon become the episode 5's Beatrice? Is that what happens? Because like we see Shannon and Cannon say that they're humans, which means they go from furniture, which is like the setting, to like now actual chess pieces. I think it was like in chapter 17 or whatever where they said they were human beings, and I think that probably changes their role in all of these death games.
I mean, there were chess pieces before because, like, you have Genji and Kumasawa and Goda that are also furniture, but
I was getting worried when they were saying that they're humans while they're using supernatural abilities to fight off the buddies. I was like, bro, you're literally about to zap away your powers if you keep doing this shit. I don't think you should keep saying that. Maybe wait like 1 hour before you start doing that.
Define human.
We just saw like the 7 Sisters of Purgatory like shattered to pieces because Anjay's just like, I don't know if I believe you guys anymore. Like, I don't think you should be shouting that you're human yet.
Okay, are you really a friend if you can't murder someone?
I mean, they're just like, we could do it, but after you do it first. You go for you murder them first, and then we'll start doing it with you. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
This definitely is good. This is us gaslighting you to murder everyone, okay? For sake of comedy.
Is one of the things where like the pacing of the VN is just better because it's lengthier in parts, but like the prison segment is much longer of them like actually there and stuff, and a lot of it is kind of some of it is dull to read because it's like Kirie trying to figure out like, oh well, it wasn't magic, so what is this? You know, you're kind of saying her thoughts, and you're like, okay. But you do get more of like Shannon and Cannon talking together about surviving this far and stuff, and then you see like you hear them have to call the kids and stuff, which we do see, but you see more of like the turmoil of like, I can't go save my daughter, my wife is dead from Kraus, and now my daughter is in this game, whatever you want to call it, tournament. And you see like Cannon and Shannon just kind of to the side, like, well, we serve Kenzo, but like the people we care about most are battling against these demons, and you see them finally like build up the courage enough because they know that they're fighting, that their others are fighting, to like, okay, we're gonna make a stand. We're not just gonna be furniture for this. We are going to rise above. So that's a small little detail that's kind of skipped over, but it does like take a lot longer for them to actually like build that resolve to escape.
Right. A couple things I wanted to bring up. Kraus and Kirie have like a moment where it seems like they're like flirting with each other mid-fight or some shit. I think there's even a mention of like, if only, I wonder if Rudolph's watching this from up in heaven or whatever. Like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, what is going on with this? I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like Kraus yet. Okay, so I like Kirie. I don't know if I like Kraus. What was the other one? Nanjo, like he had that little bit. I think there was like some other moment, but I don't remember. Nanjo's thing was like literally interrupting Kinzo when he's like monologuing, being like, fuck all you kids. And Nanjo's just like, but what about the grandkids, sir? It's like, I guess. Maybe.
Sure.
I think at first he's like, do you dare question me? He's like, no, I would never. I'm just saying, like, you know, I mean, they haven't done anything.
It's just a thought that came to me, you know.
I'm just saying, potentially, like, they could do something. Like,
hypothetically speaking.
He's like, I guess, maybe. They haven't completely disappointed me yet. Sure, let's put it to the test.
You're telling me these kids are worth more than $100 billion, or however the fuck much?
Oh yeah, there's a question about like, so you think they're worth this much? And like Natsuki and I think Ava are like, yes, and even more so. But like I think Natsuki seems like to say it genuinely. Ava feels like she's just copying that. Rudolph was like,
that ain't worth it.
Yeah, he ain't worth shit. I was like, yeah, that's Rudolph. He said, hey, he ain't worth that much. I don't know what that.
but he twisted around. He's like, yeah, he ain't worth nothing, but he's an Ushiromiya and he's my son, so I know that whatever he does is going to be extremely interesting.
Yeah. So you'd want to help him out just to see how interesting that could be, you know?
And Ava's like, damn, that's the exact answer that Dad wants.
God damn it! It should have been me. Instead of just copying Natsuki's answer, I should have.
Look at us. She's like, it's priceless.
And then Rosa, the answers are like, they are very telling of each character, because you've got Natsuki immediately like defending the Ushiromiya family honor of like, oh, I've raised my daughter to be the perfect, you know, whatever. I wanted to say disciple. That's not it.
But like heir or whatever.
Heir, yeah, whatever. And then you got Ava, you know, seeing Natsuki do something. She immediately feels she has to one-up her. Not only because it's Natsuki, but also because she does think George is so much better than Jessica. And then you've got Rudolph, who's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's Battler. Yeah, he'll be fine.
It's whatever, but also it's like a very conniving whatever, because he totally like did the homework. And then you got Rosa, who's just meek and mild, of like, yeah, whatever my siblings said.
I guess I love my daughter. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely. 100%,
That is
okay?
all.
I am obligated to say that I love my daughter, you know, legally speaking.
I invoke the Fifth Amendment yet again.
I do not love Sakutaro, though. I will rip him apart again.
I'll do it again too.
And because, oh yeah, and the Sakutaro specifically, Beatrice says that she can't bring back Sakutaro because, because what's her name, Rosa invented Sakutaro, and apparently some bullshit rule where it's like, well, if the creator does not want them brought back, if they destroy them themselves, then we can't bring them back or whatever. So now Maria's just like, what do you mean I can't bring Sakutaro back? But I mean, really,
What
it's
do you
just
think of
because, I mean, obviously I think like that's more symbolic of like the whole reason why she liked Sakutaro was because it was a gift from her mother. So if her mother ripped it apart, it's like it's even if you pieced it back together, it would not be the Sakutaro that she knew. Like things like that effect. It was what I got out of it, where I'm just like, that is just telling me like in reality, it's more just symbolic of her just being like, I only really loved Sakutaro because it was my mother who gave it to me, and I actually love my mom despite the bullshit that she does to me. It was like one of the nicest things that she actually did for me. And then she tore it up in front of me and ruined my life, and now I want her dead. I actually hate her and want her dead. I think she literally wrote that in her diary. I think she was literally like, Beatrice, teach me magic to kill my mother. And then we see like the loop later on of her just torturing her mother. So, and again, I'm cheering it on. Okay, fuck Rosa. Fuck Rosa.
Personally, I believe it just Beatrice is bullshit, okay? How good is the Endless Switch if they can't bring back Sakutaro, you know?
True. What that tells me also, oh wait, no, it wouldn't. I was gonna say, does that mean if you kill yourself, you can't be brought back? But it's only if like your creator destroys you or whatever, I guess. So like,
I giveth, I taketh.
you know, yeah.
The alternate theory is that as long as Rosa dies, then Sakutaro belongs to Maria. So then once Rosa's dead,
Then she can bring her back. She can bring Sakutaro
yeah,
back.
It's transference of ownership. I understand.
Turandel, what else do you think? Did you have any other theories or any thoughts about the volumes that you wanted to bring
a
up?
couple. Like,
All right, what do you
I
got?
feel like
Here we go.
Kinzo's slowly trying to replace the Ushiro Miya family. Like,
Good.
you had Ava who became Avatrice, right? So that's like the first replacement. So he's slowly replacing his family with witches, right? Like, he's disappointed in his children, and then he has like better children, right? He has Renove. Then you have like Gap, who would probably replace Rosa or something, or Beatrice would probably replace Rosa as like Maria's parent. And then you have who else do we have? We have Virgilia. Yeah, who's gonna probably replace someone. So I feel like at the end of the whole episodes, we're gonna have a whole cast of witches, and then the original family's gonna be dead. So it'll be fun.
Interesting.
Based. So what you're saying is, in the last loop, nobody dies, but they're all replaced by witches, and they all live happily ever after with the Ushiromiya name. And then, yeah. I mean, I did have thoughts like in one of the, I think it was like episode 2 or whatever, where like we were starting to learn a little bit more about Beatrice's backstory, where I was thinking to myself like, so it sounds like Beatrice might be like, the Beatrice that we see in the story might actually like be like a secret love child or like something of like Kinzo and a different older Beatrice, and like
Beatrice the first,
potentially the first Beatrice did not want to be hidden on the island or whatever and trapped or whatever, but Kinzo has raised this other Beatrice in secret at the secret mansion to become his ideal Beatrice in the future, in the long future, which makes me feel fucking creepy to think about, because that has a whole bunch of gross implications along with that, probably, potentially. But that's one thing that I wondered for a while. I was wondering if like the Beatrice that we know in the story that Rosa at some point saw died was actually like either the mother of the Beatrice we see here, or like the Beatrice that we see here that Kinzo had kept in secret on the island and was like trying to raise to be his ideal Beatrice or something like that. I don't know. But as far as we know, in one of the loops, there was a real human Beatrice who did die.
allegedly.
And that was confirmed in the red text, okay? They were deader than a doornail.
shit.
I have the receipts on that one, okay? They said
Well,
in red
that
text.
is a doornail.
They
actually.
said
Well,
in
let's
red text.
get into this. Hold on.
Well, here's the thing with that one. They said I was deader than a doornail, but that does not mean necessarily whether or not they were like brought back to life later on for whatever bullshit reason. But that's like more of like a insane, crazy YouTuber theory or whatever. In reality, it was probably more like they did die at some point. But maybe it was some like
doornail.
Maybe it was some dumb shit like Avatris then died, but like I was reborn in like some other kind of way or some dumb shit like that. I don't know. But in red text we were told I was deader than a doornail in that one case or whatever. What that implies in the future, I don't know.
Who knows?
If that even impacts the other timelines, I don't know. But in one of them, supposedly she was deader than a doornail. So. I did also specify with the red text notes that I took down. I took down who specifically said them in case the red text that anybody but Beatrice actually said turned out to be bullshit. Like if any of the red text that Ronove said turns out to not matter, that would be a thing. But
it was more bullshit. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Because like that idea's been in my head ever since we had like other people introducing it. And I'm like, I don't know if I would trust any of this unless it's Beatrice or a Beatrice saying it. Like if it's Avatris saying it, maybe I believe it. But if it's Ronove saying it, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. But that's the whole thing. But yeah, so I thought similar at some point with the whole like not necessarily the family being replaced by witches, but like Kinzo trying to replace members of the family that he knows in a way. Like he knows Beatrice as like his older mistress, that we're told in one of the timelines. Whether or not it's actually true is a whole different thing. But we're told in one of the timelines that he had a previous older mistress named Beatrice. And my assumption afterwards is that there might have been a love child of some kind who he was also raising, who he'd also named Beatrice or whatever. But I don't know. But what I do know is that right now, George and Jessica look like they're about to kill each other. Okay, and then we're going to actually start seeing bodies. We're going to be shown, in my head, we're going to be shown all the bodies probably pretty quickly because we have like 2 more volumes left. We have to show us all the bodies left over. We have to have Beatrice and Battler debate each other over the facts or whatever. And then we also have to jump to whatever the fuck's going on with Anjay in their world probably. Because we still have all the things that were set up in last week's stuff with the Sumaderas and like the evil tea room like sister of Kyrie and shit like that. Like we have a whole bunch of things that were set up for their like real world investigation thing, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be covered in this episode or if it might end up being something that's like, maybe every now and then in some episode we'll jump to like their investigations in the real world because Anjay is assumingly I'm assuming that Anjay is not just going to be in one episode with Battler. Anjay is probably going to be in multiple episodes, but I don't know that for sure yet. It could be some weird shit where like it might be some dumb shit like she accidentally reveals that she's Battler's sister and then she's kicked out of the thing or whatever or killed or some shit. And then I don't know. There could be something. All I know is we set up Bungo Stray Dogs guy. We set up like the researcher guy at some point with like the societies of like the witch hunters or whatever. And we set up the Sumaderas. We set up all that kind of stuff. It's got to do something, right? Right? Yeah.
Find out.
Obviously. Well, it seems like for the most part, we're probably all set with the like Anjay Academy backstory stuff. There may be like a couple more scenes, but I can't imagine there's anything like too huge that we have left over for that kind of stuff. That seemed like that was the like climax of her story with the like academy there. And now we might see like some in between stuff where it goes from like in between that and like her deciding to jump off of buildings, like getting into that kind of action shit or whatever. I don't know if we get into that kind of stuff, but we probably should see a little more, I'd hope, of like Anjay's relation with Ava, not like old Ava on her deathbed saying fuck you, ha ha ha, or whatever. Like more so seeing like Ava and Anjay's relationship outside of that kind of stuff to see like why they got to be so angry at each other. I mean, I know why Ava is upset with like Anjay as a concept because George should have survived or some shit like that. But yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We got the 2 more volumes for the remainder of the 2 volumes for the remainder of episode 4. And then we agreed we're going to be doing like 1 week of not reading. That might mean that we do a stream still, but if we do, it might be doing like either like a little intermission, like theory discussion or presentations or something. I don't know.
Y'all need to do some theories.
I got plenty of theories.
I've heard very few theories.
I have plenty of theories.
What are you talking
Okay,
about?
go for it.
Okay,
for it. Let's hear 'em.
Anjay is Burn Castle's side bet, right? So we have the main bet, which is Beatrice versus Battler. That's like the poker scene. That's like the main bet. Burn Castle tried to invest in Maria, but obviously Maria kind of defected to Beatrice. So Burn Castle is now investing in Anjay as a side bet. So even if whatever the outcome is between Beatrice and Battler, Burn Castle has chips on the table through Anjay. So like that's like a whole other scenario. So whatever happens to Anjay won't affect Battler and Beatrice, but whatever the outcome of Battler and Beatrice, there will be some impact between Anjay and Burn Castle's relationship, which I think is very interesting.
I agree. That was definitely one of my theories. 100%. I wrote it down. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I got plenty of theories. I just want to read all of them tonight when we're potentially having an entire stream to talk about our theories, okay?
Right, but I mean, just we need to discuss more.
We'd be discussing about the volumes themselves or like things related to these specific volumes. Like what
Trenda, what do you think of it?
Okay, well, I think guessing from Remia, there's probably like big revelations. So if we want to like theorize, probably now is probably a good time before a lot of those opportunities close. What did you guys? I feel like witches have like a very huge connection to like childhood and like children. Like I think like another like theory for like magic as a whole is that all the witches are children, but once you become adults or once you grow up, you can no longer become a witch. So like Virgilia is probably one of the few cases, but then again, she's like a former witch, so she's not like a child anymore. But
She's
going
like
by
17 at some point. I feel like that was a thing, right?
yeah. But going by theory, like Beatrice, Burn Castle, Gap, and Lambda Delta, they all have like childish aspects, so they haven't really grown up. But like once you become more
Brenda,
experienced,
they don't believe in Santa Claus. It's like the most childish thing in them all.
yeah. But like once you have more experience or once you grow up, then you can no longer be a witch, which I thought was very interesting. And then that has a lot of interesting implications, such as like children don't have the idea of object permanence, so that's kind of the whole magic and deception, so they can kind of create stuff out of thin air. You have like childish logic, which means like they're trying to explain stuff in the world, so that comes down to like the murder mystery theory and like trying to understand physics and whatnot, and a lot of other stuff as well. If I think I have it in my notes. Besides object permanence, there's object permanence, there's the law of conservation, which just doesn't make sense to children. So like a lot of magic and deception can be explained in that way. So I was just thinking about like the nature of magic and all that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I know. What do you guys think? Like, what do you guys think is like the nature of magic and witches?
I mean, from my perspective, most of this witchcraft stuff is just like bullshit stories that are being presented to throw off people about the actual murders that happen. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I understand, okay, you're approaching it from like how like the like, you know, the nature of the rules of the mechanics of the magic with like the people involved works with it. But in my head, I'm just like, I don't know how much that actually matters towards like the overarching actual murder. Like I said, I'm watching like the action sequences of the fights and being like, most of this shit is not actually happening towards the actual murder happening. So like in my head, some of this stuff is symbolic of things that have happened. So like, for instance, like Kinzo killing everyone could probably more so be symbolic of like some order being given to like other people to kill them. It's not like Kinzo himself like summoning like actual bunny guards to like shoot people. Obviously, it could be something like the people there are being ordered to like the other servants that are actual people have brought in the guns that we know are at the house into the room and have been instructed by Kraus, potentially, if Kinzo is dead, to like kill several of them and then take the others to like a thing. They had a whole thing where they thought that they like fell through the floor. Kyrie immediately, and I sort of agree with it, the idea that like perhaps they were like drugged in some kind of way in their food, and like that kind of made them have like a falling through the floor feeling when they were like going to the ground or whatever. Like there's a number of ways that you can explain like how they've suddenly ended up into cells when they didn't like weren't there at first or whatever, and that there should be cells impossible to be below the dining room or whatever. Again, my main thing is just that like a lot of what we're seeing from the perspective of all the people that Kinzo basically made a whole speech to probably doesn't fucking matter because they were all killed by somebody. And we don't know whether or not it was even Kinzo involved with that, because it sounds like the killer killed like all of the witnesses potentially, except for like the two servants that were locked away in the shed after just saying that the master went crazy, when really they could have just been told to go there and say that. And now they're probably dead too, or there are like doubles in place of their bodies or whatever, for all we know. I don't know. We don't even know if they're dead yet, but most likely, you're saying with the scene like that, they're probably dead. But like the whole like I keep trying to think of the whole like Jessica and George, like the test to them or whatever about it, and how we get to them supposedly like killing each other in real life. And I don't know if it's something like their parents were held hostage and they were told in the phone that they have to kill each other or whatever. But I feel like even with those two, even if they were told that they have to kill each other, like someone like George would probably like be like, don't worry, I'll let you kill me or whatever if it saves Shannon and everybody else too, or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't really know to theorize a lot of this stuff in terms of like the bunny girls and like the rules in terms of like how Maria got her magical abilities or why Virgilia like at a certain age or whatever, all that kind of stuff. Because in my head, a lot of that stuff is not really happening. So I don't really know what to do other than like attribute what it might be symbolic of, and most of it is not towards the murders themselves. So I don't know at this point. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'd say like the way Umineko sets this up for me and how I approach trying to solve these kind of mystery things, and maybe I'm just fucking stupid, okay? And it was very likely that I'm just fucking stupid. I will say that, okay? Where a lot of the mysteries are like set up too convolutedly for me to even understand which mystery I'm supposed to even take seriously. Like I've explained before, where it's just like, these fights that are happening, explain that. Well, I could just say that it didn't happen like that, but I'm not going to know how to explain it until I actually see the results of the fight, which we're not shown yet. We're being told a story of how these incidents happened, but we don't actually see the bodies yet. We saw the bodies of like the family members in the dining room when they were killed, and there was a whole speech from how this was the ideal way to kill the family members, because now if they like only destroyed half their face, you know that this is the real person because you can see the other half of their face and things like that. This is ideal because one, you fuck with the person who finds the body because it's in a gruesome way, but two, they're able to easily visually confirm that this is the body because they can like look at it or whatever, and they can see the other half of the face and that they're dead. You know,
that's the important part.
Just to gauge the room, like Arimia, Shadow, are you guys camp magic or camp like science? Like which are you guys leaning toward?
Listen, I've always told you, Beto exists.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my theory.
Definitely.
Yeah, you got great theories over there.
I can still hear her voice.
It's some really insightful theories on the witch side.
You're having
really
a psychotic
insightful theories.
episode.
The theories on the witch side is just, it was witches. It was magic.
How else do you explain that Kinzo is alive and
He's
bringing
not.
out
He's not.
bringing out these bunny girls on the table? I mean, they just like
Ari,
popped out
there's
of
no
thin
Hey,
air.
furry.
listen. Kinzo had money. I don't think him hiring a couple Playboy bunnies is out of the question. All right, give them guns too. I don't think that's everybody in the family knows how to use a gun. I don't think he, they could
We're all
teach
big
bunny girls
fans
to
of
use
the Second
guns too.
Amendment.
They were just pretty
Ari-
good at it, So the bunny girls were pretty fucking.
Listen, how else would you explain Gap's outfit?
Listen, I will say if I had a shit ton of money like Kinzo, I would absolutely be training an army of like bunny girls with guns. All right, that'd be amazing. Okay.
Specifically, bunny girls.
Yeah.
Why
not?
bunny girls exactly, Chef? I gotta know.
Because money. All right, that's why. Okay.
Well, like, why then?
And Gap's outfit does look cool. Okay. Gap, I kept remembering like Gap just kept every now and then saying like, I only want hot guys to talk to me, okay? Get out of my face or some shit like that. She kept mentioning something like that. I only talk to hotties or something like that. I don't know. She was like only interested in like hot people. But it also I thought looked like she was hitting on Virgilia in one of the panels. I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
So there's things
As you
happening.
do,
There's things happening.
Only the hot guys, are we?
And Virgilia is just like taking care of the bunny girls. When they're like crying about like, Kinzo was mean to us. Is Virgilia gonna turn out to be Maria or some shit, or like Maria's replacement or some shit because
Oh my gosh.
she's taking care of the bunny girls and those were like little bunny toys that Maria had or whatever? But I don't know. None of this is real. None of it. None of it's real.
Good on you, Shadow, for seeing that.
Seeing what?
The bunny girls.
Huh?
about
He doesn't even know.
about how Maria smashed the bunny girl and then there was one dead or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Rosa.
wait, exactly, because there's multiple layers to this, okay? It could be that. It could be why Wolfborg said hiring bunny girls exactly.
Because I had remembered the detail about them saying one of them died. I did remember like Rosa smashing the thing, but I like read both those areas like gaps apart, so it didn't like immediately click to me because I read like half of this my first read and the other half like my second read, so I didn't like click those two events.
Fair. I read all in one go, so
Yeah.
I guess I remember it a little easier.
So, wow. So clearly we've unraveled all of Umineko. We have it all solved. None of it happened. None of it's real. They're all alive, okay? They're all alive and just wanted to get out of debt. So they faked their deaths. And you might say to yourself, but in this panel, they said they found the bodies. And specifically, they found bodies that, like, show half their faces. Well, I'll have you know, with enough money and enough orphan servants that you raise, you can eventually find someone with 6 toes or people with similar faces or whatever, and you could definitely come up with
We're going the thus spoke Ron Kishime route, where the guy just like made a replacement of him, so they knew that one day we assassinate, you'll have a backup.
I'm just saying, okay, we got money, sort of, in some ways, so we can
Money
come up with
in
stuff.
vague terms.
In like ethereal terms, okay? That's the ethereal armor, all right? We have some form of currency that some people may accept, an IOU, which we will definitely, be able to pay off later on with all of our Ushiromiya money, which we are now abandoning by abandoning the name, Kinzo's dead, definitely, already, and with his death, they've lost the ability to find the gold because nobody has solved the epitaph. Nobody has felt like solving the epitaph. And so they don't find the gold and everybody's broke. So that's it. That's the end of the story. That's the end of Umineko. Nothing happens and everybody fakes their death to get out of debt. Easy solution. Done.
And when the seagulls cry, none shall be alive.
Actually, it's occurred to me. It's one thing I haven't mentioned yet. One
Yeah.
other like odd detail.
What's that?
Ari, remind me which of the 7 sisters or however fucking many there are that like
7.
Anjay knew first, like someone first.
Mammon, greedy.
Okay.
So she
Greed,
summoned all of them, but Mammon is the one that was able to stay with her because she won the rock, paper, scissors. Mammon of greed.
Okay, so Mammon mentions that like, and this is happening in the past, but Mammon says like, "You'll cast me away in the future."
Yeah.
a little odd because she knows of future events? Question mark. Kind
She's
of thing?
furniture. She can do anything.
Okay. Okay. Fair.
Well, that I noticed that scene, but I was just like, this is meta world bullshit. So
Yeah,
we could just
okay,
explain
fair.
this. This is not like she went to the. I had wondered at first because she had like, I got to step out of the room for a second, and I thought she was about to step out to like either enter the game or like enter back into like real life and like continue that investigation. Then she's talking with Mammon, so I was like, what is going on with this scene or whatever? But then I was like, oh, it's probably just she's somewhere else in the meta world thing, and this is talking to Mammon in the meta scope of it. So
she's technically walking around the mansion, but it's in the meta world.
right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I've mentioned that, but that would be significant, but I guess not.
No.
Okay.
So, Maria becoming evil witch to torture Rosa again. Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Was that Maria's entrance song? What is this? What the fuck was that? I feel so bad for what Maria had to deal with the Rosa situation that I felt so glad at Maria just getting her revenge in some kind of way.
This isn't real, you fool.
It's not real. I know it's not real, but in my head, I can hope that Maria actually killed her mother on the island.
Okay.
I can hope that she did because fuck Rosa, all right? All my homies hate Rosa. I hope that the Rokujima incident was Maria actually speaking up about how horrible her mother is, and then several family members went to kill Rosa, okay? And Rosa...
This is an interesting story. Why did we mention this earlier? We should have started with this one.
And Rosa potentially fought back and may have killed some other people like on her way down or whatever, but they got her in the end, and that's all that matters. And then the rest of them had to like run off and leave the Ushiromiya name, otherwise they were all going to go to jail for that. So, and then they get out of their debt too. It has an added bonus, so it all works out.
Added bonus, evading debt.
What I'm trying to say is the important thing is we kill Rosa, okay?
Like,
we kill Rosa.
Look, Chip, okay, I'm taking down notes, okay? I'm just saying, if you end up missing one day, I don't know.
You gotta kill Rosa. Rosa is not good. Rosa is not good. She's like literally like just yelling at Maria, I wish you'd never been born. We have like a whole visual of like different types of blades being cut into Maria of like different words Rosa has said, which are probably real words that Rosa has said to her in real life that are like resurfacing during that sequence. So not good. Fuck Rosa. This is my theme for this whole episode of the podcast. All my homies hate Rosa. We love Hideyoshi. We love Sakutaro. Rest in peace, Sakutaro. Okay. Also rest in peace,
not all of us.
Hideyoshi in several loops. Okay. What do you got a problem with Sakutaro for?
Well, he's not real, first of all. That's the first problem.
Okay. Well, what do you have? Listen. Okay. That doesn't. It's not what Sakutaro is. Okay. It's what he can. It's what he represents. Okay. What do you have? What do you have against Maria? What do you have against Maria finding happiness in her shitty living situation? What do you have against that? Okay. Even Anjay was jealous of how much Maria could delude herself.
Everyone is jealous of Sakutaro.
Anjay was so jealous of how much Maria could delude herself into having a friend like Sakutaro that she tried to have friends of her own like that, even Sakutaro being one of them. Didn't work out, but that's Anjay's skill issue, okay? Maria had it, all right, up until Rosa ripped Sakutaro apart. Fuck Rosa, not fuck Sakutaro. We love Sakutaro in this house, okay? But fuck Rosa, all right, for killing Sakutaro. In cold blood. Cold, stuffy, like, fur blood, all right? Fucked up and evil.
So what I'm hearing is that Chap does not believe in Rosa Trees.
Oh yeah, so Sakutaro isn't alive.
I don't respect Rosa. I don't respect Rosa in any form, especially Rosa Trees, okay? If there's any witch that is not real, okay, it's Rosa Trees. All right? Not real. Not reality. I still remember.
Who do you think is Beatrice?
I still remember the end of the one loop where like she's like running with Maria and having Maria load the gun. I just don't remember the shit. Like, why are you handing your child the gun and saying reload it? What is going on?
Guns already.
Again, you've seen her. Like, are you really still surprised?
I'm not. No. Yeah.
But it's very funny though.
Maybe the real Beatrice was the friends we made along the way. It was the sanity we lost along the way. We're all Beatrice in a way, in terms of like how, you know, we're handling our different traumas in life. Beatrice is handling it by concocting various murder mysteries that she could do with all the various members of the family. That's how much she hates the family. So she's been thinking and theorizing and writing fan fictions about all the different ways that she'll murder every single member of this family and then sending them out in bottles. And then one day she actually did it. And that's what's created all of this. All right. There's a theory for you. Okay. That's just a game theory for you.
And why does she hate those
game? This is a manga.
Probably, like I theorized before, because Kinzo actually kidnapped her mother or like something like that, and like created Beatrice as like a love child that was like forced upon her mother or whatever, and it was like essentially Kinzo kidnapped and like raped or whatever her, and that was like grooming the new Beatrice to be his ideal Beatrice. So I would not blame her if that was the case, and that's why she wanted to murder all of them. So. There you go. There's a theory for you. All right. Trapped
I'm just saying,
in a hidden mansion.
If you accepted Kinzo, you wouldn't have died of fall damage back then.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, what did we think of... There was one more thing I wanted to bring up that I wanted to ask about. How do you feel about Kraus? With so far, with like how he's presenting like this weird angle in this episode of like, I am physically being the one preventing you from seeing father, because it didn't seem like that was the case in the other episodes, was it? It seemed like in all the other episodes it was just that they were informed by like the servants that the master Kinzo does not want to see them or does not want to leave his study or whatever. And in this one it seems like it's explicit, it's specifically a rule that Kraus has established, and they're trying to like negotiate with him to like lift that rule so that they could see father.
But who controls the servants?
Exactly. Like Natsuhi is like very much like in charge of like a lot of that kind of stuff. And Kraus would obviously have a say in that kind of shit as well. So it's yeah. So how are we feeling about Kraus in terms of like the sus meter? Okay, scale of 1 to like 10, 10 being like Among Us, very sus, incredibly Among Us. 1 being like Sakutaro, because Sakutaro's not sus. We all love Sakutaro. Okay,
he's also dead.
Next week I'm gonna have my Sakutrice theory.
The Sakutrice theory. Listen, he could never do that. He could do no wrong. Him and Hideyoshi, okay? The Hideyoshi Trace theory.
I Hideyoshi Trace.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. No, but like, how are we feeling about like Kraus the trees? Okay, how's Kraus the trees? I don't know. Like I'm trying to piece together what we've seen about Kraus so far in the past. So what we've seen the interactions in Ava's background story about Kraus, where Kraus is presented as like, I am the heir. I don't get to do shit other than be the heir because I was born and I'm a male. So get fucked, Ava. Also, father is beating me and you up. I think there was some scene like it looked like he was trying to like get Kinzo to like focus on him instead of Ava or some shit like that, but maybe I was like misremembering that shit. Like I couldn't get an entire gauge on Kraus's character other than like Ava thought that like Kraus was just a piece of shit from like her perspective, but I don't know if that was again a thing where like we're being like twisting some of it and actually like he was trying to like he was also dealing with Kinzo, and so he was trying to like do what he could to like get Ava to not get like yelled at or beat as much as Kraus did by Kinzo or some shit like that. But here we're having like the doubt where like Kraus is like hiding father. Does he actually care about father's health, or is he actually just hiding him because he's been dead the whole time? Again, I think he was probably dead the whole time. Don't know if that necessarily means that Kraus did it, but if he did die and Kraus was hiding it, or Nazi was hiding it, they're definitely like exploiting that. Regardless of whether or not they're the ones who killed Kinzo is a different story, because it could always be something like somebody else killed Kinzo, potentially, if Kinzo's even dead. I don't know. Shadow, what do you think Kinzo is dead? Do you think he's dead?
Maybe. I'm sure he hasn't been like very involved in anyone except for this one. Even that's debatable because
Turando, do you think he's dead?
Probably.
Probably. I will say, I don't want him to be dead, because I like him being the crazy old man saying, let's start the ritual. Beatrice, we must bring her back. We must kill you all. I guess maybe one of the grandkids will survive to become the heir, but the rest of you are fucking dying. I need my Beatrice
so when
back.
Rosa slaps her kids, it's not okay, but when Kinzo
When Kinzo does it, it's also not okay, but like he's killing all of the shitty members of the family too, so I guess it balances out, you know. So it's but he does also kill Hideyoshi, so that's an L.
And the family, it's a circle.
Hey, listen, okay, if you present me crazy guy doing like funny things, like an old man screaming at his portrait of his old mistress, trying to bring her back to life, and then he brings out bunny girls with guns and says to kill my shitty kids. I don't know. That's just amazing to me. I don't know. But unfortunately,
you mentioned it should have been me.
It should have been me, not him. It's not fair.
He's good like 9 on the comedy meter.
Based. All right.
The comedy bounces out murder. Funny.
All right. Bonus memes. What did we get for bonus memes? Some of them I didn't understand the bonus memes. I didn't get the joke at first, and then I think I kept rereading. I was like, I kind of get it, but I don't really care. One of them that I thought was funny was like Battler's struggle. He's been plagued ever since the first Tea Party. Why is he in the hospital? He's got lung secondhand smoke. His lungs are fucked from secondhand smoke. I don't know what happened with that. It's just Beatrice smoking a pipe. She does it every episode. Oh, what happened to Battler? One of them was like there was something jammed in Ronave's.
You can't deny
nose?
witches if you're dead, Battler.
I don't understand what the joke was. There was something jammed in Ronave's nose? He was like covering his nose or some shit? I don't know.
Do you have a picture of it?
I mean, I'm looking at it. I have to like take a photo with my phone to show it or whatever. Hold on. I'll do it. I'll do it. He says like I stuck the pedals up there nice and tight to keep them snug and safe, but they seem to have been a mistake. What the fuck is he talking about? What are you, Jesse? Okay, I'm posting it. I'm gonna post it. There you go. I don't get what the joke is. What's the joke? Okay.
Oh, the part of the joke was there was a previous one, or maybe it was the one after this, where Rudolph was watching over from heaven, and he saw that Ronove had like shoved flower petals up his nose. So like the scene with Jessica, after she says, kill me, and then she's like, but I won't go down without a fight. She punches Ronove in the nose. And so blood is dripping down from his face. So the joke is that it's rose petals.
Okay, I don't know if like the official translation just cut out that additional like joke panel thing that you're referring to, because I don't fucking see that in the ones next to it. The like Rudolph making some reference.
It might have been a different chapter, is what I'm saying.
Oh, let me see here. Because I was just like getting so confused about that. I was just like, what the fuck, petals?
Yeah,
I did see.
Here it is.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring up to the other joke panel that I put into spoilers or whatever, The Umineko when they cry,
see. I
like
get it.
character songs coming soon.
Yeah.
That one was funny. Let me bring this up on stream. Oh my god, it's huge. Please. Please, OBS, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, OBS. Bro, how do we have so many fucking cheap viewer bots all night on this fucking Twitch? How do I ban you? Get out of here. Or are you already banned? You're probably already banned. I'll just ban you again just in case. Come out of here.
Mods, remove his bones.
Mods, double ban him. Send him to endless death via Maria, the witch. I will accept Maria as a witch as long as we kill Rosa endlessly. That's the only witch I'll accept. All the others aren't real. Okay, so
Why does that leave the existence of Psychotaro exactly in this purgatory of...
We have the Umineko when they cry long-awaited character songs from the Ushiromiyas, including Oh My Beloved, sung by Kinzo. It's Not a Wig, sung by Kraus? Because I think there was a joke panel where he had like a toupee on or some shit like that, or like a wig or some shit. And he was like presenting other ones like instead of the gold that he found to Natsuhi. Can't Bite Your Navel, Bite It Anyway and Die Forever, sung by Ava. It Ain't Easy Being a Playboy, sung by Rudolph, and there's a little like cartoon picture of like Rudolph just like combing his hair with a smug face. I love it. Auntie Rosa, I Wish I Could Change, sung by Rosa. Let's Remember the Family Teachings Anthem, sung by Kinzo and the Children. Wow, there's a whole family song right there.
Got the national anthem, but for the Ushiros?
Now here's the important thing. First pressing includes a special informal chat with the cast. Here's my question. How can they do that if they're all dead? Explain that. Is it magic? I think not. I think none of them died. That's the only way they could agree to do that. That's the only way they could agree to do that. Available exclusively at the Ushiromiya store. The Ultra Deluxe Limited Edition contains extras not found anywhere else. Platinum case emblazoned with the one-winged crest. Booklet outlining all you ever wanted to know about the Ushiromiyas. 2,950 pages of lore about the Ushiromiyas.
Honestly, I'd buy that.
Bone segment. Rosa shows you how to hit a goat with an ingot. I don't even want to know why. I don't even want to know. What the fuck? Rosa, I hate you. And much, much more. Check out the official homepage for the latest updates. And also says scan the QR code for a special phone background. And it's like a one-winged QR code. There's also an official site at http //ushiromiya.notarealproduct.com, which I think is hilarious, and I should buy that domain. It would be very funny.
Wait, is it actual domain? I feel like we need to check that.
I mean, I'm
It's
pretty
not.
sure
I just checked.
I'm pretty sure
I got that.
dot not a real product will not be a website. I'm pretty sure, but it'd be funny if I could buy it. That domain. That one joke I did with the Chaos Head domain name for one of the chapters. There was a domain for like the hospital that you could like visit. I bought the domain for that, redirected it to my playlist for it, and we actually had like one person at least like try to visit it and then left a comment on my video saying, "Good videos, man. I came here from that link." And I was like, "Oh, we actually got someone with that. That was pretty good." That would be a funny joke if I could do that with this one too, but I doubt that I could register notarealproduct.com. If I could though, I would absolutely set up a subdomain to Ushiromiya, yeah, right. And then it would work, okay? It would work. And then all of like 5 people in the world who read the manga and notice the URL and try the URL actually find it, okay? All 5 people.
It'd be really funny if it works. Though.
It'd be hilarious if it did.
Well worth the investment.
It's for the bit. It's for the Vine. You know?
What Vine? There's no Vine. Vine's gone, chef.
What do you mean Vine's gone? Vine's not gone. It's still there, right?
Chef, you have a psychotic episode.
No, Vine's there. Vine's still there. Rosa made it for me. Rosa made Vine for me. Like she wouldn't tear it down, right? Rosa is a good mom. She gets taken over by witches sometimes.
Vine is dead now.
Yeah, there was like not a lot of other of the funny meme panels that like I like too much here. I don't even think that there was an afterword in these volumes too. I don't think there was an afterword. I was disappointed with that. But we have been introduced to the blue text now, of which I think we only really had like the one case of it being used so far.
Yeah, if Kenzo is alive or not.
Which it has not been refuted yet directly. It's only been like shown to us a scenario in which Kinzo is not only alive but conducted the murders, specifically murdered everyone who witnessed him being alive. I must say, but you know, that's neither here nor there. We'll find out specifically about that with the next volumes. But in the meantime, do we have anything else we wanted to say before we wrap up for this week? Because I think we pretty much covered most of the things that we wanted to for these volumes. Here's what I will ask. With the last volume of this, how many like answers are we already going to be like getting in some respects? Because it makes it sound like we're supposed to be getting a lot of things solved with the end of this volume. Not all of it, but like a big chunk of it, from what I understand.
The next 4 episodes are called the Answers arc, so...
Right. Okay. So we're not getting anything fully solved at the end of the... Which is good. I don't want things fully solved yet, because like we said, we want like an in-between week where we can like try to theorize based on everything that we know from these arcs.
Most of it is not going to be solved, but this will... Episode 4 does end with a back and forth of Bito trying to resolve the blue text that Battler presents.
Okay.
So we will, like, she's not gonna just, like, stalemate him forever. Like, they will have a full-on confrontation.
Allegedly.
Who will the winner be? It will be me. I will be the winner. I will...
I'd win.
I'm gonna be like Battler. I'm gonna tear them out of the scene into my world, and I am going to present them with my theories and my facts that Ryokushi didn't even consider when he wrote Umineko. Okay, I will present mine, and they will be even better than Ryokushi could have even imagined. All right.
I just don't know why you're such a hater. Obviously, it's gonna be magic, because magic is real.
Then say it in red.
I did. Magic is real.
I don't think you said it in red. I think you said it in like not even a color. I don't even think you used a color. I don't even think you did. I don't even think you did. I don't think you did. I don't think you said it in red. I don't even think you said it in blue or green or yellow or anything. Okay? You can't even green text. You can't even green text. This is bullshit. All right. Well, get ready to read the end of episode 4 for next week. We will be joining up again here next Thursday, our usual night, Thursdays, not Wednesday.
Or as I like to call it, Thursday.
Or as I like to call it, Thursday, you know. So we'll be meeting next Thursday for the last chapters of episode 4. We're going to be resolving episode 4. And afterwards, we're going to have a week break / intermission theory rambling kind of stream thing. Okay, if you are somebody who wishes to present anything visually, let me know ahead of time so we can prepare how to get that shit working. Otherwise,
I want PowerPoints.
You're allowed. People are allowed to make PowerPoints if they want to present them. I will not force people to. This is not like a homework assignment. You're allowed to, but you also know the answers already. So, I mean, if you want to make a PowerPoint,
I used to think a PowerPoint is so bullshit because they already know the answer. Would be very funny.
You gotta make a PowerPoint telling us how it's all just magic, just explaining everything with just magic. It's just magic. Why?
What do you mean explaining? It's magic. I don't have to explain it.
I think we need you to come up with a whole slideshow about every slide is just going to be a different case of Beatrice laughing at Battler in some kind of meme, and us. Just every slide is just a different meme of Beatrice laughing. And you play the sound effect every single time you go to the next slide. I think, and you have it take like 3 hours too. You stretch it out. And that'll just be one presentation. So you can do that. Good luck with that. That's your assignment. Do whatever you want. All right. So again, if you are interested in doing any kind of visual thing, let me know so I can coordinate to make sure that it will actually work when we do the stream how we want to do it. Otherwise,
Wait, next week or the week after?
This is not next week.
Week
Next week is just going to be discussing episodes, episode 4, the end of episode 4, which is going to be volumes 5 and 6. Then we're going to be done with episode 4. The next week after, we won't have to do any reading. It's just like we can talk. It's a little intermission week where we're not reading, but we can like talk about like whatever theories we have. And if you have a presentation thing you want to show off, you're allowed to do it. If you have like any image diagrams you want to bring up, I can. But you can do whatever you want, but there's no pressure to like read anything for that week. Is that whole thing. And then we're going to like, afterwards, we will begin reading the rest of Umineko, starting with episode 5. We'll go through, was there like 8 episodes or is there 9? I think there's 8, right? All right, so we got 8 episodes. So we're going to be finishing the first 4, and then we'll go on to the next 4. Now I got to look into how the chapters for the next 4 episodes are split, so I can make the episode thing. But
yeah, the next ones are a bit lengthier, but we're almost at the halfway mark.
almost.
Let's be here until like October, dude.
Hey, this is why I told you guys. I told you guys if you guys want to keep going with this weekend, but it's going to take up like half of this year. So, good luck. Good luck.
Because worth it.
Beatrice is laughing at you all right now. I mean, all
We're
of us.
theorizing and you're laughing.
Because the answer is apparently just that it's magic. I refuse to believe it, though. I refuse to believe it. Why you make it sound like I'm crazy? Because it's not magic.
Why do you have no love in your heart?
Why don't you say that it's magic in red text? Yeah, checkmate.
If you had love, you would be able to see it.
Well, I mean, I could also don't even need to see it if you say it in red, but you refuse to do it. So, I'm just saying.
You're such a hater. Your anti-magic toxins are affecting me right now.
If your magic was really effective, you'd be able to get rid of my hate. You'd be able to get rid of my hater energy.
I can't help it. You just don't have any love. So
listen, Avatress tried to sound like that they were able to like brainwash one of them into thinking like something so that they could lead Kyrie into going to do something. Okay, that's what they said, and guess what? It turned out to be bullshit. You know why it turned out to be bullshit? Because magic is bullshit. Okay, all we need is science, facts, logic, DNA. That's a huge thing that will definitely help with this. But it's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, what's the DNA for?
What do you mean? These are murders.
Okay.
What kind of detective are you? What do we need DNA for?
I'm asking.
Witches don't leave DNA, so if we find any, then obviously mystery solved.
I should have known.
Duh. This is what police check for first. They're like, wait a minute, there's no DNA? Must have been a witch. Let's go home, boys. That's how they do it.
Is that actually how they do it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Go ask a cop. Go ask a Canadian cop if they know about the how to determine whether or not a witch.
DNA is, Chip?
I would hope so, but you need to ask them if a Canadian cop knows how to determine if a witch committed the crime or not. You need to ask them that, and they'll tell you. They have.
I need to stop them while they're on their horses. You're right.
They have the Umineko like guidelines in their like books, okay, to help them out with solving the crimes. Okay, it tells them exactly how to determine whether or not a witch did it. So.
Okay, actually, what's the fuck's the DNA for? I'm confused as hell.
What do you mean? What's the DNA for, Shadow? What do you think DNA is ever used for in criminal cases, Shadow?
No, man. Confirm that's this person?
Have you like ever watched any criminal thing ever?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, the answer is that you use it to like determine whether or not somebody like was doing certain acts or whatever, like if they committed the murder or if they touched certain items or or even if a body is actually that person. That's a huge thing.
So, like fingerprinting, right?
Okay. Well, if you're saying DNA, I'm not gonna think of that. Alright.
You're not. When I understand what Shadow's doing. I say DNA and he thinks Dino DNA from like Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm not thinking of Dino DNA. I'm not thinking
I know that's what
Shadow?
you're doing. You're like, I don't even know what
You're
DNA
an
is.
adult now.
Allegedly.
There's more than just Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the world. I'm just saying.
I was not thinking that.
That's not even a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's even worse.
Dino surgery or whatever. Or DNA surgery. That was it, right? DNA surgery. Right?
What the hell are you talking about?
Am I crazy? Is that not what the card's called?
Anyway, do you understand what we mean by DNA now?
Yes. Okay, I was thinking about fingerprints. We're talking about DNA. My bad. Sorry.
I mean, that
Well,
would
no,
definitely
like
be a thing that you would use too.
Yeah, like fingerprints, like I said, fingerprints are an example of like, if somebody's fingerprint is on something, they can match that up to their actual fingerprint, by running it through tests and stuff.
Okay, I understand.
DNA would be the same, where DNA is like any kind of like hair follicles, skin
Oh, okay.
follicles, blood, saliva, the cells that make us up.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand.
But they didn't have any of that in 1986. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have telephones. They didn't have TVs. They didn't have anything in 1986. But they did have witches.
Allegedly.
Seemed like they had telephones though.
No, they only had witches.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Do they have guns?
It's not like they had visual
No.
novels too.
They had witches.
I
They
think
had witches and visual novels. That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
That's all you need in life.
I mean, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out on this scheduled Wednesday event of the show this week, and we'll be returning next week on Thursday once I'm back from New York. So, everybody, stay safe, don't get killed by witches, and we will see you all next week for the end of episode 4 of Umineko, When They Cry. And oh boy, will we be crying when Beatrice starts laughing at us about how it's all just magic. Okay. I just want Hideyoshi and Sakataro to live happily ever after. I don't care anything else. Also, fuck Rosa. All my homies hate Rosa. Goodbye, everybody.
Sakayoshi.
Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe.